Welcome to episode 7, season 2, Smoke and Snow. When last we left our heroes, they had been exploring the strange island now known as the Beast's Maw, previously known as the Witch Isle. During the Nights of Colourless Fire, an event for which the heroes were pretty much directly responsible, the Great Chaos Stone on the Witch's Isle, which was apparently, according to legend, set there to absorb sort of ambient magical energies, exploded in a huge cavalcade of magical energies. When it exploded, the centre of the island collapsed inwards into this seemingly bottomless chasm known as the Maw. Our heroes had been employed by Fabio Taglaroni, who is in search of the Philosopher's Stone. After various shenanigans, they ended up on the island, where they explored the strange town of 𝐂𝐮𝐬𝐭𝐝, where the mayor seemed to have an almost sort of strange, enchanted sway over people, and very nearly convinced a couple of the members of the party to settle down there. There also seemed to be a strange number of deformities that ran rife through the people of 𝐂𝐮𝐬𝐭𝐝, with a bizarre porcine bent to them. After moving on from there, they explored the lair of a mysterious, chaotic winged beast and found their goal, these odd magical spectacles with one green lens in them that allowed a person to perceive magical energies as a sort of green luminescence. Using them, they were able to follow fragments and trails of dust from the exploded Chaos Stone long ago down to a tunnel that led deep into the side of the abyss that they were on, and they began to explore that, finding what appeared to be an ancient and long abandoned temple to one of the old gods known as the Shining One. They explored the many and various flooded rooms of the place. They saw signs that there were perhaps creatures lurking inside, but didn't see any sight of them until, at the very end of last session, they made their way to what, for all intents and purposes, seemed to be the main centre of worship, the altar room, if you will, a room with a large statue of this sort of serpentine being, the Shining One, and what appeared to be a glimmering pool of fresh water behind it. Perhaps this could be the enchanted pool believed to house the Philosopher's Stone itself. However, the lower level of this room, before they reached the stairway that led up onto the raised dais, was flooded with grimy, murky water, and as they started moving towards it, they saw three large, monstrous shapes moving in the water. One of them heaved itself out of the murk into the passageway in which they stood, its clay-like rubbery body emerging from the water, its milky eyes and gaping maw staring at them as it gave birth to something which was half yawn and half roar. And that is where we are going to pick up, with you guys seeing this creature heaving itself out of the water in front of you, and you can see the two dark shapes of seemingly similar size sort of moving up behind it. What do you do?
Get behind Brock.
Okay. Not a problem.
Seems fair enough.
Yeah, so Quentin hides behind Brock.
Is that basically a single sort of corridor, that little
Yes, it is, yeah.
joining bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can sort of block it off, as it were. Yeah, I'm going to... He hasn't got any sort of spear or ranged weapons, has he? Is he just claws and teeth?
The creature, this sort of rubbery creature with these milky white orbs, seems to just have these long claws. It doesn't actually seem to have any tools or weapons. As you look at it, you can see like bits of dank weed and moss, seemingly like either sprouting or like hanging from its body. You're not sure, because this grimy water with bits of stone and rubble in it, it's like cascading off it. It maybe has a sort of a tattered bit of fur like, or hide, like a loincloth sort of draped loosely around its groin, but that's really it. And when it yawns, it's almost got like a hippo-like yawn, and you can see these sort of like chunky, quite small but quite sharp teeth in this gaping maw that easily sort of distends far longer than you would expect it to be, almost like a snake's mouth.
Okay, well, I'm going to just going to move this token to where I am at the front. I'm just going to pull back slightly and see if it comes towards us, so that we can sort of almost gang up on it if it decides to come to that crossroads where we're currently standing. But I'll be blocking the corridor for now, just to see if it comes forward.
Okay, and it does indeed squeeze itself through the passageway. Like I say, its flesh appears to be sort of rubbery or clay-like as it sort of squeezes its bulk through this ferret. I mean, as it rises up and fully steps out of the water, you can see it's about 10 foot tall. It towers over even the mighty Brock, and this water's still dripping from its greasy strands of hair. But as it moves, it's sort of like rubbing against the sides of the walls, but its flesh seems to be quite malleable, like I say, almost clay-like. And as it sort of moves towards you, two more of these fearsome creatures heave themselves out of the water behind it. The two behind it, as you sort of like pee around it, Brock, from where you're, like more likely through its legs, you see the two behind it, their skin, although they look very similar, their skin appears to be almost like slightly translucent, and you can see like the dark shapes of bones and perhaps organs underneath their skin as they sort of amble forward after presumably their leader, perhaps.
So do they actually look injured, or they just like almost?
They don't look injured. It just looks as though their skin is partially see-through. Just you can see like the outlines of their bones, which is not the case with the first one, but it is with the two second ones.
Okay.
So they lumber forward. As they move forward, you hear one of the ones at the back. You're not sure which one it is, but you hear one of the one at the back saying, like, a halting, rough voice, "Is it tasty, my sweet? Is it mossy and scrumptious?" And then they lumber forward to attack. Okay.
I'm hoping they're not going to find out, to be honest.
Can one of you guys roll initiative for yourselves? And I'll roll for the monsters. Obviously, it's 1d6.
Oh, Brock, you're in the firing line.
I'm on a 3.
Oh, a 1.
Okay, so they're getting to go first. However, because you've taken the very wise move of sort of moving back so they can't all get at you, only one of them can attack at the moment. So, let me just have a quick look. So, he's going to be making 2 attacks as he's basically trying to pound into you. He's not really clawing at you. He sort of bunches his gnarled hands up into huge fists, each the size of like your head, and he's just trying to slam these fists into you. So what's your armor class, Brock?
18.
18. Okay. These are hitting with a +7. So I'm going to make a roll for them. So then you obviously need 11 or more. So the first one hits. The second attack misses. So you've only been hit by one of them, and his damage is 1d10. So let me just roll that. Okay. Luckily, as you sort of throw yourself back out of the way, you only take 1 hit point of damage as just like one of his knuckles like glances the side of your face. His other huge, meaty, dank fist slams into the side wall of this old, decrepit temple that you're exploring. You feel the vibration run through the corridor as this fist like into it, and you see there's a large crack in like the old plasterwork on the wall and the old stonework, and you see a few chips of stone run down as it pulls its hand away. However, as he sort of smacks you and glances you with a blow. As you sort of reel backwards to avoid the other one, you glance, you sort of like turn round, and whoever is stood behind Brock, which is I'm assuming both of you, you notice that on Brock's face there, where the fist of this creature like glancing, there's like what looks like a tiny like green patch on his skin, like a little fuzzy green patch, almost like lichen or moss perhaps. Okay, who wants to go next?
Well, I best go first since I'm sort of in the way. What I'm trying to do is obviously take an attack at him, but I want to just pull back enough that people can come in from the sides, but not let him through, if that's possible.
Yep.
So I'm trying to hold him at this sort of crossroads, basically. Right, so I should take a swing at him and
Go for it.
see if I can hit him. Oof, 11.
Okay, I'm afraid that is not enough. So you do strike this creature with your attack. Are you using your spear?
My sword.
Your sword?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you wade forward, swinging your two-handed sword in an arc. Obviously, it's not quite the full force because you can't really get a good swing in these narrow confines, but you swing it with your redoubtable strength. It does hit this creature, but like I said, the flesh of them has like this strange sort of like rubbery, sort of slightly viscous quality to it, and your sword almost just seems to like slide down it and sort of like distend the flesh slightly, and then like off it with a wet squelching sound, and it doesn't appear to have actually caused the creature any harm. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Let Weimar go.
Yeah, I suppose Weimar would be next to Brock, trying to block, as it were.
Okay, yeah. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I think, realistically speaking, you can probably both sort of like side by side in this corridor. So yeah, I've got no problems with that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a case of doing lunges because Brock is working with a massive sword. So out comes the sun sword, and we go in for a jab with a meaty 14.
Okay, that is enough to hit them.
Nice.
Right. I presume they're not undead.
No.
So it's gonna be this. Oof. That's a 9.
Okay, not a problem. So yeah, you slap this creature with the sun sword. As you pull it out, and the flames burst around the sword, and the sunlight spills out of it, and the choir of angels sing, as is normally the case with the sun sword. You see the creature; it lets out a slightly fearful moan, and sort of like as it sort of tries to stumble back a bit, and you deliver it to this vicious swipe. And you said it was 9 points of damage, yeah?
No, 9 altogether, yeah.
Okay, no problems. I shall make a note of that. Okay, so yeah, you hack into this creature. Your sword sizzles and hisses, the flames seeming like a knife cutting through butter as you draw quite a significant blow on this creature. Like I say, it's sort of holding its hands up and trying to sort of seemingly get away from the sword.
Now, just as a point of curiosity, because I heard you mention it's kind of like clay, this front one. Does it bake in the heat of the sun sword?
Alas, not. Although the flesh has very much the consistency of clay, it does actually seem to be flesh. rather than like actual clay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got sort of like quite a sort of flabby like epidermis, like layer of skin. So it sort of like moves, and it's quite sort of like plasticky and sort of moldable. But your sword cuts through it. You see what appears to be like, you assume it's the blood of this creature, but it's like thick and like dark grey, almost black.
Viscous.
Yeah, very viscous. It like some of it's on the end of your sword, and it sizzles as it like burns off the sword, and sizzling spatters of it hit the stone floor at your feet as this creature cries out again, and it's like, "Ah!" Quentin.
Yeah.
Now,
It's not really enough room for a missile attack.
I was going to say, yeah, making a missile attack is going to be very, very difficult.
How high is the ceiling?
The ceiling is about 15 foot high, and you estimate that because you're like, right, those creatures are about 10 foot. So you've got a bit of more time to think, because these guys are like blocking the way. You're like, right, they're about 10 foot tall. The ceiling's got to be about 5 foot over their head, so it must be about 15 feet. Obviously, you're used to like casing joints and working out measurements like this for like jobs, etc. in your line of work. So you're like, yeah, it must be 15 feet.
Okay. I want to toss a vial of oil over their shoulders towards the back into the other room.
Yeah, make a missile attack roll. I'm going to say you only need you want to throw it over these like troll-like creatures.
Yeah, over them.
But bear in mind, like the chamber is like flooded behind them, so it will like hit the water.
Yeah, that's all part of the plan. Don't worry.
So are you trying to create like, well, what's the aim of doing this?
The aim is I'm going to throw the vial in there, and then when I've got a space, I'm going to shoot the vial because it'll be floating on the surface, so I can set fire to the water pool.
Lovely, that's what I thought. Just wanted to check. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to say make a missile attack roll. You're only going to need like a roll of like 10 with all your modifiers. And basically you will hit the water, but this is just see if you get it where you want it, basically.
Yeah. So, is it D20?
Yep. So you roll a D20, you add your attack, and you add your ranged modifiers to it.
8, 9.
Okay, so I'm going to say you actually sort of misjudge the distance a little bit.
Yeah.
You throw the oil, but rather than sort of like hitting the water, it actually hits like the stairs.
Oh, as long as it smashes.
That are sort of behind them, so that the stairs sort of like here.
Yeah.
And it smashes, but most of it doesn't go in the water. It's sort of like covering the stairs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so one of you guys want to roll for initiative again, and I will roll for these malformed creatures. I'm on a 6.
Oof. 3.
Okay, so they're going first again. Right, so this creature that is at the front, it's going to lash out at both Brock and at 𝐼𝐼𝐼 with like one of its fists each. So here we go. So what's your AC again, Brock?
Mine's 18.
And what's yours, 𝐼𝐼𝐼?
17.
Okay. Make that roll now then. Okay, so Brock's been hit. And the second one. And 𝐼𝐼𝐼 has been missed. So 𝐼𝐼𝐼, you managed to parry it off. It actually seems quite wary of you given the sun sword. However, its fist slams squarely into Brock's chest. And I'm going to roll for its damage, which is a D10. And it seems like the Ice Walker toughness prevails as you only take 2 hit points. However, again, and this time 𝐼𝐼𝐼, you notice it as well, and you probably notice it this time, Brock, it's on your chest, not on the side of your face, as Brock falls backwards, where like this fist's hit him dead square in the centre of the chest. There appears to be like a little patch of like moss.
Does it like sting, or I mean, obviously the hit hurts, but I mean, Does it have some sort of lasting effect?
At the
the
minute,
moment.
it's just like you've got like a little furry like green patch. It doesn't appear to have caused you. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel painful, like if you prod it or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's not changing anything at this current situation. So
Doesn't seem to be at the moment.
So
Right.
I'll be quipping from the sides like, "Come on, Brock, dodge it! You're gonna be mossy and scrumptious in a minute."
Okay, so who wants to go for you guys first?
I'll go first again. Keep the same order. Yep. So I'll take a. Oh dear! Oh dear! I don't like this new dice roller.
Okay, so Brock tries to swing again, but now he's got like a person next to him, and this thing's pressing into him, and obviously he's just been like smacked full bore in the chest by like a 10-foot troll. He's not able to put the strength and sort of aim behind his swing that he normally would, and you basically catch one of the walls with your sword as you're swinging it. A shower of sparks spray down as the sword scrapes along the stone, but because it slows your swing, it gives the thing time to sort of like shift out of the way, and your sword slams down into the stone floor again. Like a shower of sparks spray up in the darkness of this chamber. And that's actually a good point to say, like, is anyone carrying a torch or anything at the minute?
No, the sun sword probably takes care of that for the minute.
Well, we've got the retainers. We've got 2 retainers with torches, haven't we?
Yeah.
But they're obviously behind us. But
Yeah.
hopefully it's shedding enough light on the
Yeah.
situation.
Well, certainly at the minute you wouldn't have to worry about it because the sun sword's like blazing away. So
Yeah.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
So one more.
Right. Yeah. So here goes. Another stab. Exact same. 14
Okay.
to hit, and 8 damage.
Okay.
We're going to town today.
Okay. This creature is starting to look a bit rough now. It's got like 2 of these deep, jagged cuts in it that are sort of slowly like oozing this black ichor that's leaking onto the stone floor. It's getting noticeably slower in its movements, but it's still sort of ferociously attacking you guys, and it doesn't have any finesse to its attack. It's literally just flailing at you with these gigantic fists. Quentin.
So we've got 2 retainers with torches,
Yeah.
and we've got the vial of broken oil behind the trolls.
Yeah, on the stairs, yeah.
So we're going to take one of the torches and lob that over.
Okay, yeah. Again, it's a ranged attack. Again, I'm only going to say you need a 10 because you're just trying to hit like a large flat stairs.
12 in total.
Okay, yeah. So you hit the stairs. They burst into flames with the oil that's like covering them. You see the red and yellow flames rising up, and you smell the acrid scent of burning oil as like smoke billows off it. You hear like a grunt or a groan of what might be surprise or perhaps fear from the 2 creatures at the back, and they renew their efforts, start trying to like push the other one like forward as though they're like trying to get away from the fire that's behind them.
So now, boys, we need to push them back into it.
Yeah, that's probably going to be easier said than done, but we shall.
Okay, and that oil is going to burn for 2 rounds.
Not if we all push at the same time.
Yeah, it's just the corridor, isn't it? I don't know if we'll be able to do that. We can try.
Okay, so initiative again, guys. I'm on a 6.
Right. Third time. Oh, blimey. I was going to say third time lucky, but not against the 6.
Okay, so again,
So-
this creature is going to, in fact, it's going to try pretty much doing what you guys have just suggested. It's going to try and, it's launching with its fists at Weimar and Brock, but this time, if it hits, instead of doing damage, it's basically trying to drive you back. So it's instead of just like, it's launching like a quick flurry of blows just to try and get you to like defend yourselves and like back up so that it can move forward, because it's got these other 2 pushing on it from behind. So first one against Brock. misses. So as it sort of launches this flurry of blows, you parry them with ease, Brock. They're quite heavy blows, but you maintain your footing and you are not driven back. Okay, the one on Weimar. Again, it doesn't appear to want to go near you, Weimar, perhaps because of the Sun Sword, and you both maintain your footing. Over to you guys.
I say we all push as one motion.
Yeah, are we gonna
Including the retainers, we're going to rugby scrub them.
how achievable is that down the tunnel, John?
Right, well, there's basically 3 of these trolls lined up. They're each sort of like 10 foot tall and like fairly substantial, so they weigh a lot. And obviously, you're going to be 2 of them are already trying to push the first one forward. You guys are going to try and push all 3 of them back. So I would say you could do it. However, it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, you wouldn't even have a chance if you didn't have so many of you. But I would give you a small chance of doing it, but it's only going to be a very small chance. Just because these things are like quite hefty and there's 3 of them all trying to push forward while you're trying to push them back.
And if we fail, is that everyone's had their go?
If you all push together, yeah, that's going to be everyone's go. And I will tell you, if you fail, it's probably going to be result in you guys getting pushed back a little bit. Because it's effectively like a sort of strange tug of war that's going on as they're trying to push forward away from the fire and you're trying to push them back into the fire.
The other option is take out the injured one and then just...
Yeah, I was just going to say, is it worth trying to kill the first one and then when there's only 2 of them? I think that's probably got a better chance, isn't it? We'll do that then. I'm going to attack again this first one and try and take this first one down and then try and push the others. So I'll give a swing at it.
Go for it.
Hey, 23.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Roll your damage.
What is my bonus damage? Hang on. Gone already.
It's alright now,
Plus
Rose.
2, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
6.
Okay, 6.
6 damage.
Okay, so yeah, you deliver a vicious swipe with your sword, and finally you're rewarded when you actually like sever a couple of the fingers on this thing's hand as it's sort of like obviously swinging its fist and pulling its hand back, and you see some of this black fluid spray out the end of its 7 digits. Okay, Weimar.
Right, so still standing.
Yeah.
The front one. So here goes. Yeah, that'll be a 19.
Okay. Roll your damage.
4.
Okay, this one looks extremely ropey now as you stab into it with the Sun Sword. You can see it sort of swaying, and a couple of times it like puts one of its hands up against the wall of this corridor, this crumbling stone corridor, like it's trying to steady itself. But obviously it can't really fall down because these 2 behind it are like pushing it forwards. Quentin.
I'm going to stab the one that's falling.
Okay, yeah, go for it. I'll say you can probably like quickly like, dart between them 2 and like.
Yeah, forget it. It's a total miss.
Okay. So yeah, you try and get between those 2, but given that they're moving around and swinging swords, you're not able to find an opening. So on to the next round. So we're on to initiative again. Can the players get the initiative?
Come on.
I'm on a 4.
Oh, 4.
Okay, so we're going simultaneously. So I'll do the trolls first. Like I said, this is all happening simultaneously. So again, it's going to attack 1 each, Weimar and Brock. So the first one on Brock hits. Second one on Weimar hits. Okay, so on Brock, that is a 3 hit points of damage. And on Weimar, 1 hit point of damage.
Whole point.
A whole point. However, it basically like scratches you with its claws pretty much. However, you do notice that where you've got this like shallow scratch on the side of your neck, as you sort of like lift your free hand to it, you feel like a strange sort of like patch of like fuzziness where it scratched you. And anyone else who looks over, you'll see like a little streak of this moss on Weimar, similar to the ones that Brock's got on him. Okay, over to you guys.
Okay, well, I shall try and take this one down. That's only a 12.
That's not enough, I'm afraid. Weimar.
Okay.
Okay. 22.
That'll do it.
8 damage.
I was on it tonight.
Okay, so you step forward, you slice this creature sort of across its midriff, and it, with a groan, it sort of topples to the floor, almost like slightly deflating as its sort of elasticy skin just like flops onto the floor. And the troll behind it, without any sort of ceremony, one of these slightly translucent ones where you can see these dark bones and organs below the skin, just literally like tramples over the top of it in its haste to get at you. Quentin.
So, is that one still alive then?
Nope, the first one's dead.
First one's dead. That leaves the two behind.
Indeed.
I want to throw my last vial of oil to the back roof in the tunnel, so the oil cascades down onto them.
Nice. Yeah, again, difficulty 10 roll. That's fine.
It's 18 in total.
Okay, so roll me a d6, and that'll be how much damage they both take. Both these two trolls take as this sort of flaming oil sort of comes down.
1.
Okay, so the oil comes down, but they're already moving forward, so not a lot of it sort of hits them, but they both take 8 points of damage. Okay, so I believe that's everyone done for this round. So on to initiative again. So for the trolls, I'm on a 1 this time.
Has Darren gone?
Oh, 4. There we go. So you guys are going first this time.
Oh,
Yep, 4.
Okay, go for it, guys.
So this oil, is it burning on them, or what was that?
It's sort of like spattered down, and it's been like, but it's burnt them a little bit, but like a lot of it missed them.
So is that continuing, or is that sort of done its thing?
That's done its thing.
Okay. So do we want to push into the corridor, or do we want to once again sort of hang back and let them come out, or come to us?
I'd push one back into the corridor. That way, there's only one in front of you.
Yeah, but then it will be literally just one-on-one. I think that's the problem. We've sort of got it at the mouth of the corridor, so we can sort of get all of us at it, or
Unless they're quite restricted in movement because there's two of them stuffed into this small corridor.
yeah, I think only one can get.
Certainly at the minute, where you
Yeah.
are now, only one of them seems to be able to get at you at a time. Like I say, the one that's attacking you now is literally like stood on the body of the other one.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Just deal with
so-
one at a time then, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to continue as it is then, I think, because the other fire's gone out as well now, isn't it? So I'll launch an attack at this one. What is that? 14, 21. So,
That'll do it.
Oh, that's better. 10 damage.
Okay.
Brock
Yeah.
finally finds his stride.
He's getting the feel for it now.
Indeed, perhaps emboldened by the death of the first troll, Weimar sort of like grinds it into the ground with his foot as he like steps on its head, swings a mighty uppercut with his huge double-handed sword and like catches the thing in its chest, sort of like driving the sword up under its ribs and then yanking it out. Again, there's a spray of this vile fluid onto the wall next to the creature as Brock sort of pulls his sword out. One more.
Yeah, continuing with the in with the stab and then retreating because your boy Brock is swinging a girder piece.
That's it. Brock's going like full barbarian, and you're sort of going more like fencing, like.
Yeah, because I don't want to get decapitated here. So here we go. Oh, need to clear all that out. 19.
I'll do it.
8 damage. What's the damage tonight? Like
What?
usually I'm up 2.
He's on 4. I don't think he's missed yet, has he?
No.
What's happened to him?
He's we've had this happen before. I don't know what it is, but sometimes Weimar just clicks somehow. This happened in the smuggler's place where they had.
It's these underground caves. I think
Yeah.
we're going to have to keep taking you to these underground caves.
All I'm saying is, you're near a temple to the old gods. The Sun Sword was made for the Solar Knights, an order that followed like the old gods. Maybe the sword's a little bit more powerful here. Who knows? But you drive your flaming sword forward into this creature, and you see its face sort of twist in like panic and fear as the sword like slices into it with a sickening, sizzling sound, and the horrible smell of burnt flesh wafts through the corridor as you pull out the sword. And since one of them is down and this one's pretty injured, I'm going to make a morale check for them. So that's a 5, so they are fine. Okay, so Quentin.
I'm going to take a lit torch and thrust it into the one that's in the thing's face.
So are you
I'm aiming for an eyeball.
So are you grabbing the remaining torch off the retainer?
Yep.
Okay, now bear in mind this will be like your last lit torch that they've got, because you threw the other one, obviously.
All right, but we've got 6 more. So.
Yeah, no problems. So yeah, you grab that off him. The retainer's like, he's not going to argue, to be honest, because he's seen what's going on up in front, and he's actually quite glad to have you guys like in front of him. So you're like, give me that torch, and he's like, yeah. Yeah, you take the torch. What are you doing with it, sorry?
I'm going to thrust it into the one that's in the hallway's face.
Okay, so that's effectively going to be a melee attack roll.
Yeah. My worst attack roll. It's a total of 7, so that's a miss.
Okay, yeah. You lunge forward with the burning torch, but since it's already sort of like rearing back a little bit to get away from Weimar's sword, you sort of come up a little bit short. However, you are sort of like extended now, so it will be able to attack you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 2d6 for its attacks. 1, 2, it's Brock. 3, 4, it's Weimar. 5, 6, it's Quentin. So the first one is a 1, second one is a 2, so they're both at Brock. Okay, so first one.
So now Quentin's joined in. It's got worse for Brock.
Okay.
I'm chaos, they love me.
However, given the fact that he's waving a torch around quite near you, Brock, one of its swings, it sort of breaks up short and pulls away, like not daring to like go any closer because it's getting too near to this torch that Quentin's waving about. Its other hand, however, slams into you, causing a mighty 3 hit points of damage. Okay, and we're on to the next round, I believe. So,
Brock,
initiative again.
Right, I'm going to win this time.
I'm on a 6.
Oh, you and your 6s. I've got a 5 there. I thought I was doing well.
Okay, so the trolls again. Again, I'm just going to make 2 rolls, see who it attacks. So this time it's 1 against Weimar, 1 against Quentin. So the 1 against Weimar is a hit. Oh, no, it's not, actually. So the animation stopped on a 17, and then it went onto a 3. So that's a miss. So the one on Quentin is also a miss. So confronted by a flaming sword and a torch being brandished with wild chaotic abandon, it actually sort of like, it starts to loom forward as though it's going to make these attacks, and then at the last minute it sort of like stumbles back sort of in a sort of King Kong monster movie style, like holding its hands up in front of its face to try and like shield it from the flames that blare in front of it.
Right.
Over to you guys.
Let's pile in then. Oh, 10 damage from a 21.
Nice. Okay, the second one goes down.
Oh.
As before, I'm going to make a morale check for the third one. Yeah, it's fine. So it sort of, again, pushes forward over the bodies of its fallen comrades, sort of like squashing them into the floor of the stone corridor that you're in. You hear the sickening crunch of bone as it sort of like steps onto their bodies. And it moves forward. Okay, one more.
So, what's the distance like at the minute?
There's maybe sort of like 5-10 feet between you and it, but it's moving forward.
Can I do a step forward, lunge, step back?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm prepared to be a bit sort of like loosey-goosey with it, because obviously we're not doing exact sort of like combat position.
With the idea of being like, take an extra step forward before the lunge, and then you know, withdraw, because it seems to be working pretty well when me and Brock are trying to door stop this thing. So that's what he does. However, now it's all falling apart because I moved. I shouldn't have moved.
Indeed, as you move, in fact, you're finding it on the uneven stone floor with your peg leg. You're finding it quite difficult because the floor's like quite uneven. So you actually like stumble a little bit, and you manage to regain your balance, so you're not in any danger, but it like throws off your thrust and you don't manage to skewer the beast. Looks like it's down to Quentin, the fire starter.
Yeah, all right, I'll go for the same thing I did last time.
Okay.
$13.
Okay, that's not enough, I'm afraid, to hit it. And also, can you roll me a d6? If you get a 1, your torch has gone out, because obviously you're waving it battle up.
3.
You're fine. Okay, so on to the next round, so initiative.
3.
So 3 for me as well, so do you guys want to go first? Obviously we're actually simultaneous, but...
Okay, yeah. As it move, well, it's going to move forward anyway, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's very much sort of charging forwards.
Okay, so we're sort of continuing our sort of position where we are. That's a hit, and that's 8 damage.
Lovely. Yep, you continue your vigorous assault, thrusting your sword repeatedly into this foul, blubbery beast. Why more?
All right, let's try that again. Oh, there we go. That's much better. 24.
Okay.
Position.
So recovering his balance and sort of like strangely like pirouetting round on his peg leg, he thrusts out with his sword, striking the creature. And how much damage did you do, Wama?
7. We're back on form.
Okay, lovely. So the beast is still going, and obviously we're going simultaneously, and it can pretty much attack all 3 of you now, because obviously Quentin's in there with his torch and you guys are attacking it. So I'm just going to roll a couple of d6s, see what it attacks. So 1 on Brock and 1 on Quentin. So the 1 on Brock absolutely misses. The 1 on Quentin hits. and you take 8 hit points of damage, Quentin.
Ooh.
As you sort of like extend yourself and swing this torch, this sort of troll-like creature does a lunging like uppercut, like catches you on the sort of underneath the chin, throwing you back past Brock and Weimar. You sort of roll to your feet with your practiced rogue's instincts and quickly recover yourself, but as you sort of move forward in the light of the guttering torch that you're holding, Brock and Weimar, if you sort of glance back, you can see that on the bottom of his chin there's now like a patchy green bit of like moss. It almost looks like he's got a green beard.
Yeah, Quentin hasn't had a go yet, has he, this round?
Yeah, he rolled with his torch.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so do we run a roll initiative again?
It is 2.
I'm on a 5, so Troll going first again. Again, I'll roll to see it. Well, it's only going to be Brock or Weimar now because Quentin's been sort of pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
So first one, well, they're both against Brock, it looks like. So first one hits. Second one misses. So first one again, somehow, like as though you've been blessed by the Ice Walker tribal spirits, you throw yourself to one side at the last minute and you just take a glancing blow off its fist, only taking 1 hit point of damage.
You're that.
Over to you guys.
Right, return fire. Oh, he's definitely back on business. Further 8 damage against this creature.
Okay, another mighty swing of Brock's double-handed sword. And again, this thing is like, it looks like it's having trouble like holding itself up again. It's sort of swaying and it keeps sort of like you see it a couple of times, it like drops to like almost like walking on all fours, with like using its like knuckles to like steady itself like an ape might do. But it's still grimly hanging in there. Why more? Can you finish the beast?
Let's see. That's a 15.
Okay, I do not believe that is enough. Oh, no, it is, yeah. Is that it?
Okay, 4 damage.
Okay, yeah, so you score at a glancing, sizzling blow with your sword. This thing looks like it's almost dead now. You can see it seems to be having trouble focusing its eyes, but it doesn't really need to because it's just like flailing around wildly with its fists. Quentin, however, you've rolled back to your feet. As you do so, you're sort of like lifting yourself up and rolling back round. You can see like through Brock's legs and through like the legs of this massive creature into the chamber behind. And you think it might just be the like knock you've taken or the flickering light, but you think for a few moments as you see the like flames like dying on the stairway, you think you see like something sort of like an amber colour and like gelatinous sort of slither up the stairs, almost like a sort of pool of like gelatinous goo up the stairs, and it slithers into a small crack on the base of the plinth of this huge statue at the top of the stairs. But then you roll back to your feet. This huge troll is like in front of you, swaying dangerously. What do you do?
I'll try and stab the troll.
Okay, go for it. What are you using?
I'm using a silver dagger.
Nice.
No, it's only a 10.
Okay, so you try and stab it, but again, you're not able to land a blow on it. So it's initiative again. I'm on a 2.
5.
Okay, this could be it for the troll, so it's over to you guys.
Okay, let's see if we can finish this foul creature off. No, not the time. He misses wildly.
Indeed. Weimar.
Let's see.
Can your
Come on.
can your recent run of luck on the D20s hold true?
Yes, 17.
Okay, make your damage roll.
6.
Okay, and with one last mighty swing, Weimar fells the beast. It collapses onto the bodies of its fellows. It is dead.
I think I'd probably take a seat as well. Just prop up against the wall here. Just like breathing hard.
Rest while you can, because I'm not entirely certain the next chamber's empty.
Great. Wonderful. Rock, you're looking a lot greener than you used to.
Yeah, I'll be scratching at this green stuff. Trying to sort of scratch it off.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get cloth.
Yeah, you rub it, you scratch it, you cloth it, whatever you decide to do to it. It doesn't seem to have any effect on it. It's like it's actually like growing out of your skin, like, you know, that you get like body hair would grow out of your skin, but it seems to be like a moss or like a lichen of some kind.
Oh, I'm going to go to the extreme then and get an ember and try and burn it off.
Okay, so you get a... Bear in mind, you may inflict some damage on yourself doing this.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I'm going to roll a D4. Or what I could do is I could just randomly open the wrong program on my computer. Let's see.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. Okay, you take 3 hit points of damage as you sort of like burn this thing like quite deep, and it does appear to burn it off. However, to the rest of you looking on, like, he burns this this moss off his chin, and like he's probably going to have some scars there, I'm not going to lie. But as you watch over the next few minutes, it just seems to like sprout out again. Within like a couple of minutes, he's got like a little fuzzy green beard again. And obviously we've got Brock with a bit on his cheek, and we've got Weimar with like a patch on his chest as well.
This cursed place.
But yeah, we're no longer in combat rounds, guys, so you're free to act as you see fit.
Well, we'll need to speak to someone more learned than us on such a thing, unless this guy who's come with us has got any knowledge of such. I turn to our companion, the Lord, as I call him.
Yeah, so you turn to Fabio, and he's like, "Oh, no, I'm afraid I've never seen a creature like this. I mean, when they first came out of the water, I thought it was a troll of some kind. I know there are many different creatures that are called trolls, ogres, respectively, but I've never seen anything quite like this. And this," and he sort of gestures at like the mossy patches on you. This is something I've not seen before. And he actually starts rooting around in like his little like satchel he's got on his like over his shoulder and hanging at his side, and he takes out what appears to be like a small pair of like metal tweezers, and he looks at the three of you and he says, in the interests of a scientific curiosity, would you mind if I and he like clips the tweezers in the air. Just a small sample.
Yeah, go on. It ain't gonna do any harm.
Okay, so he basically grabs hold of some of this moss on your cheek, and he like pulls a small bit of it out, and it's literally like someone had like grabbed hold of your beard hairs with their fingers and just yanked them out. That's how it feels. And he sort of takes out like what looks like a small like potion bottle almost, holds it out. One of his retainers like pops the cork off. He drops the moss in, puts the cork back on, and puts it in his satchel. And you notice that over the next few minutes, like the moss sort of grows back into the area that he'd like pulled it from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're now standing in this cracked stone corridor. Ahead of you is the flooded lower chamber of seemingly this altar room of this this temple to the Shining One. Quentin said, I think the chamber up ahead might not be empty. But as you look in there, all you can see is this flooded, about sort of waist deep water in this lower chamber, a small set of stairs heading up, and then there is this serpentine stone statue, and behind it what appears to be a pool of water, although you can't really see it too clearly at this point.
Saw something go into that statue.
Okay, with that in mind, I'm just gonna move to the end of this corridor and get a torch off of one of the newly lit torches off the retainers and sort of shine it across the water and just have a good look around to see if I can see anything in any movement.
Okay, so by now, Quentin, your torch will have gone out.
Yep.
Will the waving around. So that's 2 torches you've used.
Yep.
You said you had 6, was it?
Yes, 6.
Okay, so 2 use, and so the retainers get out another 2. So, unlike to them, Brock, you're taking one of those lit torches. That's absolutely fine. They don't make any move to stop you, obviously, like they could.
Yeah, it's only while we're looking around, and then I'll hand it back, obviously. But yeah, can I see anything? Any movement or anything in this water?
Okay.
I don't know how deep it is.
Like I say, it's about waist deep.
Oh yeah, waist deep.
Although probably not waist deep to you, but to like a normal person, it's waist deep. But as you shine the torch around, at first you don't see anything. There's a lot of like stone dust and filth, presumably from those creatures you've just killed, in the water. But as you sort of like move it around, you just like stir the water with like the edge of your sword, etc., you see the telltale glimmering of silver and gold below the water.
And does it look like coins or?
Difficult to tell because of like all the like,
okay.
rubble in the water, but you think probably, yeah.
I'll use my sword to sort of, move it around.
Yeah, you move it around, and from the sort of like feel of how it moves, it basically feels to you like the bit of the floor that you're touching is carpeted in coins. And you see like a glimmer of like silver and gold as you sort of like stir it with your sword.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
the
All right.
distance?
I'll reach down and try and sort of scoop something up in my hand.
Yep, you reach down with your hand and you come up with a handful of gold and silver coins.
Okay. And it seems to be covering the whole of this sort of chamber, the water.
Yeah, it seems, and this is just a supposition on your part, that perhaps this part leading up to where this like raised dais, this raised altar area is where like offerings were like left by the faithful. And obviously now it's been sort of flooded, but it looks like many of the sort of the votive offerings that were left are still here, sort of carpeting the floor of this flooded area. You can't see like a carpet of gold and silver on the raised bit, but it seems like this entire sort of flooded area is like blanketed in like a thin coating of gold and silver coins.
So do we want to collect those up, or do we want to do that on the way back, or?
Do it on the way out if I were you.
Yeah.
Don't tell him what could annoy these old gods.
Okay. And you saw something in this statue, you said?
Something went into that statue, so I'm going to go and have a look.
Okay, well I'll go along with Quentin with this torch.
Okay, so obviously I'm relying on whoever's carrying a torch to sort of track how long the torch has been burning for, effectively. But obviously I'll let you know when like a turn has passed. I'm just trying to look up how long a torch lasts.
Yeah, I'll keep a record of it. That's all right.
Torch burns for 1 hour. A turn's 10 minutes. So it's six turns a torch will burn for. So one turn has passed with you like moving into the room, investigating the coins, and going up to look at the statue. Okay. So you move up with a torch at the statue. You don't see anything obviously untoward about the statue. It's a large, must have been almost like it's been sculpted out of marble. It's like a white stone with veins of a slightly darker hue running through it, but it's cracked and worn by time. It appears to depict this great sort of coiled serpent with the head rising up at the top, and it's like got this large sort of a snake-like head looming out of the top of it, but around the sort of like the head part of it is like this frill of very well carved like feathers that sort of extends like part way down the sort of raised neck of this snake. As you look, you see it's on like a large stone plinth, a large block of stone, but you see like the plinth appears to have fared quite badly, and there's like lots of cracks and chips, and there's like deep cracks running along the bottom of the plinth.
Something went into one of them things. It was like a golden ooze.
Yeah. Is it worth us like trying to put the torch in one of these cracks and see if it reacts, or do we just give it a wide berth, or just being aware of it?
Don't really know.
Is that pool behind it obviously lower again, or
It's slightly lower, yes. It's like an actual pool. It appears to have been constructed. It's not just like a flooded area, but it is obviously like sunk into the plinth.
but it's all man-made rather than
Indeed.
the rest of it looks more flooded? Yeah.
And as you hold up the sort of torch in that direction to like get a better look at the pool behind it, you can see that unlike the murky, filth-encrusted waters of the lower part of this antechamber, the water in the pool appears to be crystal clear, to the point where you can see the bottom of the pool. It goes down sort of like about 10 feet to the pool, about 10 feet deep. There doesn't appear to be anything in the bottom of it. There's in the flickering of the torchlight, there's what looks to be like the remains of like a mosaic of some kind that again appears to depict like a sort of serpentine creature with feathers, but like a lot of the sort of like mosaic tiles have like chipped or sort of like come off and peeled away.
Well, should we just move past this statue then, and like I say, just give it a bit of a wide berth as much as possible and get everyone past it whilst keeping an eye on it?
Stay there and I'll go and check the sides of it.
Okay.
So
Okay, so another turn has passed for your torch. Okay, so yeah, you move around the sides of the pool. What are you looking for, Quentin?
in particular, any form of archway, doorway.
Okay, you can see that off to the east here, there is like another sort of like cavernous like passageway leading away, and since you'd be able to look down it, I'm gonna reveal a little more of that. Just give me a moment. Let's try that again. Okay, you just have to ignore that that sort of stripe down it. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
It's fine. Yes.
But yeah, you can see it's a more natural like sort of passageway that appears to sort of split off.
Okay, I'll go back to rock, and we can call the other ones forward, I think.
There was nothing in the top sort of northwest corner. That's just
That's just part of the chamber.
It's just part of the chamber. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's we sort of usher all the rest of the group past this statue, and I'm going to sort of stand in front of it with this torch, just keeping an eye on it, in case anything appears after our previous sighting.
Okay.
Just try and go around it and head to the east.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. So you start making your way around it and heading towards this passageway.
And then I'll obviously follow up and hand a torch back to one of these retainers.
Yeah, no problem at all. You move into this slightly more natural passageway, as I've described.
Wymar, are you getting any feelings on which direction we need to be going?
Not particularly, no. I do think that we need to be relatively close to get any kind of, I suppose, in the moment.
Are we getting any better readings from this spy? Well, it's not a spyglass. The pair of spectacles. Does that give us any sort of direction?
What are you? Obviously, I presume you're not walking around with them permanently on.
No.
What is it you want to look at with the spectacles?
Well, it's like literally look up one corridor and then look down the other corridor and see if there's a stronger this dust or essence or whatever it's.
Okay,
Trail.
You look down the corridors. You see the sort of general like specks of this phosphorescent like green dust that seems to be like endemic to this part of the moor. However, as you sort of turn round with them on, Brock, and you look behind you, you can see like almost like a beam of like green light coming directly out of the pool.
What the man-made sort of pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a pillar of light actually
Indeed.
coming out of the middle of it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll show the others then.
Be prepared to yank me out. I'm going to go and stand in it.
Okay, so you head back to the pool, Quentin.
Yep.
As you're sort of looking into it, now you're sort of looking into it in more detail, you can see this mosaic pattern depicting a serpent, as I described previously, and you can see that it's like almost like one of those Aztec sort of like side-on sort of style mosaics. And as you look at it, you can see that the eye of this serpent appears to actually be like a chunk of green stone. And you can also see what appear to be some glyphs sort of carved into the bottom of the mosaic.
Okay, so I will try and read the glyphs.
Okay, let me know if you succeed.
80% chance.
Yeah, there's a D percentile option in the dice thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. You puzzle out the hieroglyphs, and it says, "If you be a true worshipper of the Great Serpent, then drink full deep of his majesty. But beware, O false prophets or greedy seekers of power, for the gods of winds will show no mercy."
Okay. Does anybody believe in the Great Serpent?
I think in the distance there's Malcolm's voice.
I do.
Hi guys. you guys.
Fabio says, "Oh, just the Great Serpent. That's one of the many names used for the old god known as the Shining One, if I'm correct." Well, that would make sense given that it's a temple to the Shining One. And yes, the Shining One was supposed to have dominion over the harvests and winds and life force and such other things like that.
And is this green gem? Is that what we're looking for?
You lift up the glasses, because obviously your boy Fabrio's not like seen through the glasses, but you like look through the glasses, and yeah, this beam of light's like now you're looking down into the pool. It's coming like directly from this gem, and it's like up into the air.
But he doesn't know what it looks like, does he?
No, you get the feeling that although he's done all this research, it's probably been like legends and sort of stuff like that. So he's never had like a picture or like an accurate description of this philosopher's stone, besides the fact that like, oh, it's gonna heal all ills and cure the sick and stuff like that.
Is the the shining one's chaotic, isn't it?
Well, it's debatable. I mean, obviously these things are gods, so they're sort of like a little bit above that sort of thing. But most of the old gods weren't exactly what you'd call lawful. I mean, they followed their laws, but by the standard of like your society, they'd probably all be considered chaotic. Because they were like things like, oh yeah, like sacrificing someone to like scatter their entrails on a field to like get a good harvest. Yeah, crack on.
Well, we've got him here. Should we let him go and get this gem out of this thing? Or ask if he wants to get it?
As you're saying that, Fabio like turns to his like two retainers and he's like, "You heard them, boys. Get in that pool and get that gem out." At which point the retainers are like looking a little bit uncertainly at each other, given everything that's occurred. And he's like, "Go on, that's what I'm paying for you for. Go on, get in there." And they sort of slightly nervously lower themselves into the pool, and you see them sort of pull it from their pack. They pull out like a couple of crowbars, and they start trying to like prise this gem out of this mosaic. After a few moments, another turn has passed on your torch.
Mm-hmm.
After a few moments, they do indeed prise this gem out. And like I say, it's a sort of dark greenish. It almost looks like a dark greenish like mineral. And they pull it out and lift it up out of the water. Obviously, one of them's had to go under the water. I'm going to make a roll to see if I get a 1, he like swallows some of the water when he's down there. So let's have a quick look. No, so he's fine. Okay, so yeah, he comes up from the water holding this gem in his hands, sort of holds it out to Fabio, who is sort of like, doesn't take it straight away. He's like peering at it with his eyes wide with the joy of discovery as he's sort of peering at it. And he's like muttering to, "Oh, this is marvellous. I've never seen anything like it. This could be it." And he's sort of almost like talking to himself more than he is to you guys.
I'll lay a hand on the pommel of the sun sword, and I'll think at it. Is this thing that they've just pried free, is this significant? Do you know?
The voice of the sun sword echoing in your head says, "Well, yes, there's definitely some power in it. It could be a fragment of the Chaos Stone, but how it got set into that mosaic, I've no idea. Since this place has obviously seems to have been long disused, and the Chaos Stone only exploded during the nights of colourless fire, from what people have been saying." As you're saying that, there's a scream from the man who's holding the stone, and he falls to his knees.
I guess I think at the speed of thought, at the sword. I suppose we're about to find out what's going on with the stone.
Sorry, what was that, Yanis?
Yeah, so I think at the speed of thought, as we see this going on at the sword, I think I suppose we're about to find out what's going on with the stone, as I try and get a look at what's going on with the person?
Okay, he falls to the ground, like clutching his head. He drops the. He was sort of like half climbing out of the pool. He's dropped the stone. It's fallen by the side of the pool. He's sort of like rolling around, like holding his head, like he's having like the world's worst migraine.
He's not holding it anymore, but he's still got this pain, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's much I can do to.
Doesn't look like it's curing anybody.
Anyone who looks at the man who's rolling around holding his head, you notice that what appeared to be 6 sort of like slits or almost like scars of like appeared on his head, like the top of his head. And as you watch with like these slits open up and you see underneath them like green eyes, like human eyes, 6 of them covering his head.
Kill him?
Yeah, I exchange a very meaningful glance with Brock if he's looking at all up from this mess. And right next to us, I guess Quentin is giving the suggestions.
The unfortunate man again lets out a scream and he's like, "What's going on? I can see behind me."
Kill him, kill him, kill him.
Well, he's still with us at the minute. He's not turning into one of these creatures that we've encountered, like these shapeshifter type lizards.
He doesn't seem to be. It's just like 6 like new eyes, all green, like human looking eyes, have just like appeared on his head, like opened up in his skull. And not obviously from his shouts, like he can see through them like you would do normal eyes. And he's sort of, he's like on his knees now and he's like,
Has he stopped sort of screaming with pain? Is it like done what it's doing, sort of thing?
he has stopped screaming with pain. You're not sure whether that's because the pain's abated or whether like the sort of rush of sensory information from these new organs has just like overwhelmed him, because he's like staring sort of like madly from like his normal eyes, and he keeps like moving his head around like with a look of mixed fear and wonderment etched on his face.
I mean, I will definitely have my sword ready.
I'm going to go and put the stone back.
How do you pick it up?
Wrapped in cloth with my gloved hands.
Good skills. Yep, you pick it up, you're absolutely fine. You go back under the water. You just diving back under the water.
Yeah, just dive straight down, put it back where
you dive straight down, and there's like a little sort of like depression where the eye is that it fits into fairly snugly, and you just like put it back in. No problem.
Yep.
You see, like Fabrio's like, he seems to be like torn between sort of like, obviously the 1 minute the excitement of like, oh, have we found the Philosopher's Stone, and then like shock and horror at what's happening with this guy, but also you see like a bit of sort of interest on his face that, you know, it's a curious new phenomenon that he's not experienced before, and he's slowly taking a couple of steps towards the retainer, who's still on his knees like.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on him in case he transforms further or does any sort of nasty moves towards attacking anyone. Or
Fabio sort of like moves behind the guy, so like he's facing the other way, and he sort of like, he says, my good man," and he holds like his hand like that behind the guy's head, and he's like, "How many fingers am I holding up?" And the guy who's like looking the opposite way, so only the eyes on the top of his head can see, he says, 2. He's like, Fabio's like, this is wondrous strange. The presence of the stone in contact with his flesh appears to have transmogrified him in some way. It's improved his senses.
All right.
The man sort of, who's on his knees, the retainer, tries to like stand up, but he sort of like lurches and like falls to one knee, as though he like, it's thrown like his depth perception off. he sort of gets up and he like staggers like he's on a boat, and then he like falls to one knee. And you see, like, as he sort of leans down, you see like these 6 eyes on the top of his head, and they occasionally like they'll like blink like normal eyes would, but like say the sort of the iris, the coloured part of each eye on his head is like emerald green.
Foul witchcraft.
Yeah, lands like there's some demonic sorcery here. My husband, you mark my words.
Yes, we should not be touching this green stone.
Lan says, my husband, should we allow this wretch, and she sort of gestures with like the point of her own sword in like this kneeling guy's direction, should we allow this wretch to continue with us? Who knows what peril his spirit is in now. This dark influence has got its claws into him. He could be a danger to all of us.
Yeah, Brock's thinking that over at the minute.
I'm just going to go and kill him, I think.
Okay, well, if you choose to kill him, like, he's not really in a position to like put up much of a fight. He's like on one knee, like, with no depth perception. So if you want to dispatch him, Quentin, how do you do it?
With my assassin's dagger.
So you're literally just walking up behind him and like,
Yeah, just slice his throat.
yeah, you walk up behind him, you start reaching out with your dagger, and as you do, without turning around, he sort of like just reaches out and like grabs your hand, so like behind him, obviously having seen you through his other eyes. Now, if you want to try and just like shrug him off, you can make like a strength check to just like.
I could try.
Yeah, so roll a d20 if you get equal to your strength or under. Fine.
I got a 2, so that's definitely underneath my strength.
Yep, so he puts his hand out to try and grab, but he's still like a little bit disorientated, his depth perception's off, and you just like knock his hand to one side and draw your assassin's blade across his neck. He gurgles a bit as blood runs down his chest, sort of falls face forwards, the eyes still winking unnervingly on the top of his head. He jerks spasmodically for a few moments and then lies still, a pool of crimson spreading out below him. After a few moments, the eyes on his head all close, but they're still there.
Not having that. No.
Fabio looks like he doesn't really want to argue with you guys, like he's stuck here with you and he's not really like capable of fending you off, and he's like, but under his breath he's like, oh, such a waste. Think of what we could have learnt. Obviously another turn
What
has
is the
passed.
knowledge when you're dead?
Oh, well, I suppose so. Another turn's passed for the torch.
Well, it's there if you want it. We shan't be taking it.
He says, well, your dagger happy friend there, and he sort of points at Quentin, was capable of carrying it with gloves and proper precautions, and it has not affected him.
Well, like I say, I gesture to the pool. It's there if you want it.
He turns to it. He turns to his retainer, like he's like, and the retainer's like, He's like, look, I don't care how much you pay me, Mr. Taglaroni. After I've seen that, I ain't getting in that pool and not getting that stone out. And he's like, oh, well, if you wanted job doing, and he sort of goes into the pool and very gingerly sort of lowers his head under. I'll make a roll, see if he takes any water in. He doesn't. He goes under the pool. You see him, he's like put his gloves on as he sort of goes up there. He takes his like some sort of like it must be like a book cover or something out of his like a leather book cover, a cloth book cover out of his pouch. You see him like wrap it around the stone. He like pulls it a little bit and then sort of pulls it out of the mosaic, wraps it up in this book cover in his gloved hands, comes back up to the surface, heads over to the side where he's like put his satchel and all his goods next to it, and he like stuffs it into the satchel. He's like, there we go, look, I don't seem to have suffered and he spits out a bit of water. I don't seem to have suffered any ill effects. It would seem that it requires direct flesh-to-stone contact in order for whatever happened to that poor fellow, and he gestures at the dead body, to occur. But if such a wondrous thing can be found here in this ruined place, I mean, I must say I have my doubts as to whether this is the Philosopher's Stone itself. After all, this pool appears to have been purposely constructed to house it, and we know that the Chaos Stone exploded long after this place has fallen into the ground. But think of what further wonders could lie ahead in this. And he gestures at the sort of like stone cavern to the east. What further wonders we might find in there. This could be the making of all of us.
Yeah, we've seen some of the wonders of the Chaos Monolith as was. We'll need to be really careful now.
Well, yes, of course, but that's why I secured the services of you fellows.
Let's push on. Let's get out of this chamber. We still haven't decided which way we're going, have we?
Let's go up.
Okay.
As you say that, Fabrio's like, while I was under the water, there was some sort of writing below the mosaic. So something about drinking deep of the serpent's lordliness or something. Perhaps this was some sort of baptismal pool or something, a healing pool or something similar.
It said,
yeah,
only drink the waters if you believe.
Oh, well, I can't say I have any great faith in the old gods. I'll give you that.
And given the fact that bloke grew 6 eyeballs, I wouldn't go drinking the water if you don't believe.
Yes, that's probably a good point, Quentin. Probably a good point.
Stone has probably contaminated that water with the same foul magic. So let's move on.
Okay, yeah. So you head through this branching, cavernous, more sort of like natural cavern. It's supposed to slope slightly down, and then it splits into 2 branches. The floor is uneven and jagged, covered in sort of crumbling rocks, and you see sort of little like stalagmites and stalactites as you move. Where do you want to head to?
Up. So we're going to go up here.
Yeah, we'll go to that corner, can't we?
Okay, no problems. So to the north of you is the corridor appears to, for want of a better term, appears to continue, and at the end here it actually seems to like slope down quite steeply. The corridor doesn't end there. You can see it appears to actually lead down like much deeper into this part of the mall, so to speak.
Do we see water in that direction since it's going down?
You don't see any water in that direction now.
Oh.
I think if we find the stone on this level, we'll be the luckiest fuckers in the world.
And obviously I'll put those 3 arrows there at the end of that, just so you know it's going down rather than being an end of a corridor.
Yep.
So do you want to explore the giant cavern?
Yeah, I think we should discover what we've uncovered before we continue.
Okay, so another turn has passed on your torch. Don't forget the Eddie burner for 6 turns before going out.
That's fine.
Okay, So you enter into what appears to be a large, echoey, huge cavern again, stalagmites and stalactites. This sort of dull grey-black rock that appears to be the natural sort of rock of this island. You have a look around in this chamber, which again takes another turn. However, you don't find anything untoward in here beyond the fact it's this large, echoey, cavernous chamber. However, since you've had a look around, I'll reveal some more of the area beyond.
So we'll light a new torch at the end of that, because obviously that'll run out. And I think we'll just keep one torch going for now, but keep one like out ready. So if we do encounter anything, we can light up another one to sort of back us up.
Okay, that's fine. So you're basically like lighting up like your fourth torch now. So you've got like another two like in reserve.
Yeah, I've got some as well, but yeah.
Okay, so let's reveal a little bit more. There we go.
Whilst we're in this cavern, I'm going to turn to the Lord.
Yep.
Did you swallow any of that water?
Okay, no, I don't think so.
Because some came out your mouth.
He's like, well, a little bit of it got in my whiskers. I haven't shaved for a few days, but no, I didn't swallow any of it. I was more just sort of blowing it out of my my moustache and my beard.
I've got my eye on you.
He's like, well, given what's just occurred, I should jolly well hope so. Okay, what do you guys want to do?
Do you want to do to the south first and sort of try and clear all that direction first?
Well, everything behind us probably is better than everything in front of us.
Yeah, let's check to the south first.
Okay, feel free to move yourself. So I'll reveal a little bit more.
Yep.
Obviously, another turn has passed.
Mm-hmm.
So as you head southwards, again you reach a fork in the path. You notice that this path here again appears to be sort of like descending quite sharply, whereas this one appears to head into another cavern to the south. You notice as you're heading south, it's like the air to the south of you coming from this cavern appears to be a little bit damp or like moist, and there's a smell of sort of damp vegetation or like rot coming up from the cavern to the south, and you can hear like the drip of water somewhere to the south of you.
What, so south, and then hopefully we end up looping back on ourselves.
Yeah, we should go and check it out just to be sure.
Okay, so another turn passes. So you head into this cavern, and as you head in there, it's full of moss and fungi, and there's really this very pungent smell of damp vegetation. Water appears to be dripping from the stalactites on the ceiling, and as you sort of like look around, you can see that dotted amongst this vegetation overgrown with moss and fungi appear to be the remains of numerous animals and humans sort of strewn around. Some are fairly recent, some a little more than bones, but all of them have like moss and fungi growing on them.
I don't see the moss look doing as much favours.
No, I think we just pass through here as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Just see if that joins up.
As you move through, like the whole of this cave is like carpeted with like a thick spongy layer of moss. It's quite quite odd to walk in. It's almost like walking on like a thick carpet. And as you walk across it, occasionally like a little sort of cloud of like spores or like a little like misty cloud rises up from the moss.
Cover your mouths.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Get some cloth, cover my mouth.
Yeah, not a problem.
Hold your breath as best as possible going for it.
Yep, you do so, and it doesn't appear to do you any harm at all. As you're sort of looking around, like say, you can see these like animal and like human bodies dotted around. Most of them are almost entirely like buried or like covered in this moss. You know, occasionally you see like a bit of bone sticking out, or like a sort of skeletal hand, or like a rotted arm or whatever sticking out of this carpet of moss.
Wonder if it's anything to do with those creatures we encountered.
Okay, so you're just moving through it.
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so as you move through it, you see a much sort of narrower passageway, which you sort of do a bit of like mental arithmetic in your head, and you think you must be passing under one of the passages you saw earlier from the temple. So effectively, this passageway here goes under this passageway here.
Weimar, if you use the sword as a torch whilst I go ahead because it's getting narrow.
Right, it'll let anyone who is there to hear know that we're coming, though.
I got you, but we can't burn through torches like this.
Ah.
Yeah, Weimar pulls out the torch. There's the normal like choral flourish. The flames lick on the edge of the sun sword, and it sheds this daylight in a wide radius.
Okay, then I will go to the bend of this narrow passageway.
Okay, no problems. So you head to the bend in the passageway. As you get there, it appears to connect to a small chamber which is strewn with filth and detritus. You sort of, are you moving stealthily, Quentin, or I assume you
Yes, yeah, as slow as possible.
are? Yeah, make your move silently roll.
$65 and roll is 77.
Okay, so obviously you don't know you've failed the roll, so
No.
you move forward as described previously up to the edge, and as you get to peering into this chamber, it's filthy, strewn with dung, bones, half rotted furs, and like bits of like chewed moss. There's like cracked bones and like what are like the remnants of crude meals scattered about. And in the center of this chamber is another one of these troll-like creatures you fought previously. It appears to be sort of like squatted amidst the remains of this filth and these furs. And as you sort of like creep forward, it obviously hears you it looks up, lets out a roar, and charges towards you. So, Quentin, can you roll me initiative? D6. I'm on a 4.
5.
Okay, so you get to act first. What do you want to do?
Run.
Okay, yeah, so you're running back to the others.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you run back to the others. You can hear this creature behind you. So you guys have just seen Quentin sort of head off, and he's like, all right, I'm just going to pop ahead to investigate. Like, keep that sun sword on the boil. He disappears off. Then from down this sort of narrow corridor, you hear this bestial roar, which again is quite easily identifiable as being similar to the creatures you've just killed. And then you see like Quentin like speeding back down this passageway. Do you like say anything or shout anything as you're like running in, Quentin?
Yes, it's not one of them moss things.
And indeed,
Just the one.
Just one.
As Quentin sort of bursts in, like behind him, you see this another one of these creatures sort of squeezing itself through this narrow corridor. This one doesn't have the like translucent skin. However, as it sort of like grabs hold of like the edge of the cave to like heave itself in, you can see that unlike the others that had sort of like 5-fingered like clawed hands, this one it's like its fingers have sort of fused together, so each hand has only like 3 fingers on it. They look sort of quite thick and like clumsy, but they've still got, rather than having claws, they've just got like square shaped like nails encrusted with filth on the end of them. As it like grabs hold of it, it's like as it like heaves itself into the cavern.
Yeah, well, if we back up into the room, we can surround it, can't we? Make sure.
Yeah. Is that what you want to do?
Well, I think we can take it down a lot quicker if Lan can get in and everybody.
Okay, so do one of you guys want to roll initiative? I'm on a 4.
You might as well carry on. Since you're winning.
1.
Oh.
Okay, so the troll's going first. So in this combat we've got Brock, 𝐼𝐼𝐼, Quentin, we've got the 2 retainers, we've got Lan, and we've got 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐿. Okay, so I'm going to roll for it because it's just flailing around. I'm just going to roll for each of its attacks, see what it hits. So the first one is against one of the retainers. The second one is against 𝐼𝐼𝐼. So the one against the retainer hits, and it just demolishes the retainer. It just like hits him in a wanna, and obviously he's like a level 0 like warrior, so it just like annihilates him. You hear like a loud snapping of bone, and he is thrown backwards like a limp rag doll as the last of 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐿's retainers perishes. So the one that's attacking 𝐼𝐼𝐼 hits, and that is 4 hit points of damage to you, 𝐼𝐼𝐼, as this sort of 3-fingered clumsy hand just like smashes into the side of your head. Okay, it's over to you guys. This thing's pretty big, so you can all get at it.
Yeah, we'll tell the other guy to back off.
Oh, 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐿.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
back off towards that other corridor.
He's like he doesn't stop. He's like he doesn't waste any time like backing off. Put it that way.
And then, yeah, we'll try and surround it so it can't sort of get past us.
Yeah,
best as
absolutely
possible.
fine. So we've now got Brock, 𝐼𝐼𝐼, Quentin, and Lan surrounding him. Obviously, the stats for Lan are on the retainers worksheet on the spreadsheet, Brock, so you can use that.
Yep. I don't know if you want to back off as well, Quentin. It's taking a
I'm
bit of.
fairly buggered at the minute.
Yeah, that's what I meant. If we could try and sort of triangle.
I'll shoot it. You just leave me an opening.
Yeah. So.
Yep. So Quentin, because obviously we're all doing like moves, but it's fine. So like Quentin sort of backs up out of like arm's reach of this thing, getting his like crossbow out or whatever he's going to use. So in combat range with it now, we just have Brock, 𝐼𝐼𝐼, and Lan.
Yeah. Let's sort of try and form a triangle sort of around it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. It appears rather like the others to be sort of operating on a very sort of instinctive, bestial level. Like it's just basically hitting whatever's closest to it. So you three being closest to it, it's not going to be like, I'm going to ignore these three and go for that guy over there. It's probably just going to wail on you three first.
Okay.
Okay, so go for it. You guys have effectively done your moves, but you've still got your attacks.
Okay. I shall roll mine first. That is a hit for. Well, I assume it's similar armor classes before, but that's 9 damage. And then I'll do Lan as well while I'm at it. Let me just check Lan. I think she's +2. Yeah, that's only 11, so I assume that's a miss.
It is indeed. However, the mighty swing of a Brock damages the creature, so driving it back a couple of paces.
Over to you guys.
Right, can I reach the troll?
Indeed. You guys are like surrounding it.
Nah, I can't.
Okay, so obviously getting into position has taken you a little bit longer than you anticipated. Yeah. But we've still got Quentin with his ranged attack.
Yeah, 1 crossbow coming.
Now, obviously, normally you'd be in danger of potentially hitting an ally, but this thing's 10 foot tall, so that's not really an issue.
Over them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's not really a problem in this circumstance.
I didn't hit anyway, so it's only a 7.
Okay, yeah, your crossbow bolt flies past it. So, next round, initiative again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3 for me.
It's a 3 for me.
Okay, so we're going simultaneously, but do you guys want to go first?
We can do. Yep. All right. Oh, no. And Lan, 14.
Just enough.
Oh, okay. And that is 6 damage.
Okay, so Brock goes in with what looks like an attack, and as the troll sort of swings towards him, he sort of feints to one side at the last minute, and then Lan comes in from the other side, like double teaming him, drives her sword into its side, and it howls in rage and pain as again you see this black ichor dribbling down its semi-gelatinous flesh. Why more? What do you do?
No.
Okay.
Not hit is what I'll do.
It would appear that now you're outside the auspices of the temple. Perhaps the look of the D20 gods has forsaken Weimar, and he swings with no effect on the creature.
I think it's the mossy ground.
Go back to the temple. My powers are weak.
Quentin.
I'm fading. Oh.
The darkness is taking me. Go for it.
14.
That'll do it.
Three hit points.
Okay. So as you're sort of like you're swinging and you're sort of like you realise you've overextended yourself, Weimar, and you're like pulling back from your lunge. So just past your ear, there's a bolt like sinks into the creature's chest. It snarls and like sort of slaps it like that, snapping the bolt out of its chest. But again, there's like a thin rivulet of this dark ichor running down its chest. Okay, so I'm going to do the troll attacks now. So it's going to be either Brock, Weimar, or Lan. So I'll see if it's going to attack. Oh, they're both against Lan. Okay, so first one hits. Second one, what's our AC for Lan?
It's 15.
Oh, he's just missed with the second one, so it's only one hit on her. Okay. She takes 3 hit points of damage as she's like smashed in the side by this troll as it sort of vents its fury at the stabbing she gave it. Next round, initiative again. I'm on 5.
2.
Okay, let's see how the troll attacks. Okay, they're both on Weimar. First one misses. Second one also misses. So it flails at you, Weimar, and despite your lack of mobility in certain areas, you deftly avoid the clumsy 3-fingered grabbings of this horrendous creature. Over to you guys.
Oh yeah, let's attack back. Oh, that's definitely a hit. 5 damage from Brock's attack.
Okay.
And let's see if Lan can double team. Oh yes. Oh, a measly 1.
Okay, so perhaps spurred on by anger at his mate being so slapped around by this foul beast, Brock swings his mighty double-handed sword, almost cleaving one of the arms of this creature. It's like hanging uselessly down by its side, although it sort of swings it back round. There's like a snap of its like joints going back in, and you see it like flexing its clumsy fingers. While it's doing that, Lan leaps up and scores a shallow cut down its side again. Okay, who's next?
Weimar.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. Oh, no. The turns have tabled. A 19.
Yeah, that's enough.
And that's an 8 damage. We're
Okay.
back.
Well, you are getting near the temple again. Okay, so Weimar lunges forward and he stabs this creature directly through the chest where the heart would be on a human. It sort of looks down almost dumbly as though it doesn't really realise what's happened. And then with his good foot, Weimar lashes out and like kicks it off the end of his sword. It staggers for a few moments, swaying, and then it falls backwards with a loud and collapses to the floor, lying still.
Okay.
Did that one leave any mossy residue?
Anyone it hit would have had like a mossy residue on it, yeah.
Yeah, it's Lan.
Indeed. You can see that on her side, she's now got like a patch of this green moss.
She probably wears it better than I do.
This year's hot fashion accessory.
What else was in that room? Or did you not get a chance to...
Shit. Lots of shit.
Oh.
I love that when he's like, yeah, what sort of shit? No, actual shit.
But I think that does lead back to the temple.
Okay.
So there's now hopefully definitely nothing behind us.
Okay, that's good. At
this point, can you all roll me a d6 and let me know what you get?
D6.
5.
Okay.
5.
4.
Okay, so Weimar and Quentin only. As you're sort of obviously still in the light of the sun sword, like casting its glorious radiance over everything, as you sort of step over this troll to like continue your exploration, you both happen to look down and you notice that like some of the minor cuts on the troll appear to be like slowly closing.
I'll stab it.
Yeah, you stab it again.
Yeah, I'm going to keep stabbing it until someone gets the point.
Yeah, that's no problem. You keep stabbing it. It's not putting up any resistance.
Can one of you guys like cut its head off or something?
I guess I'll set about hacking off the head with the sun sword, John.
Okay, yep, you hack the head off with the sun sword, which, as is typical, sort of like cauterizes the wound with the flames licking around the edge of it, and as you slice it, the head rolls off. You watch the body and the head for a few moments, and you notice that whatever regeneration or healing was taking place appears to have ceased.
And I think we should put that head as far away from that body as possible.
Hmm.
All right, so we've gone full circle.
All right.
We either go down the nearest one, or we go back to the start, rest, and then go down a level.
I vote for here since we're already sort of in the area.
Yep. Yep, let's take a look there. See if it's around the corner at least.
Feel free to move yourself to where you want to go. Okay, so as you move down this sort of a cavernous passageway, again you see that this passage appears to slope much more deeply down and head into a deeper part of the mall.
So do we want to check out a deeper part, or do we want to check out the northeast first?
I think we'll do the northeast because it's on this level, and if there's any more of these moss things.
Yep. So let's head back up into the big chamber and to the northeast corridor.
Yeah, not a problem. We're not in combat round, so feel free to move yourselves. Okay, so I'll reveal a little bit more. Okay, so as you continue moving through these caverns, retracing your steps to the north, you head through the large, empty, echoing cavern. As you look into this area here, you see that there appear to be sort of large cracks running across the stony floor here. You can see like every now and again like a bit of dust or a few like pebbles fall from the ceiling.
I'm guessing you're going to have to be very, very quiet to cross that floor.
And then as you're sort of like looking down this passageway to the southeast, you don't see anything particularly noteworthy about it at first, but as you sort of like take a few steps down it, you can actually see sort of like in the distance in this direction there appears to be some light coming through, like natural light, and you can actually like feel wind if you move to like this area of this tunnel.
Okay. Shall we investigate the wind or the broken floor?
No, the wind sounds interesting. Was it pointing down? What did you say?
Sorry, what are you doing, guys?
We're going to go towards the wind and the light.
Okay, no problem.
Was that tunnel heading down? Did you say, John? Sorry.
It wasn't, no.
No, so it's still on this same level. Okay, so as you follow this tunnel along, you emerge
into the daylight, and you find yourself in a cavern that appears to open out onto the edge of the abyss. You see a chasm below, and sort of quite far below, I mean, let's see, we're talking about maybe 80 feet, give or take. You can see that like about 80 feet below there is a ledge jutting out over the abyss of the moor.
If we tie 2 bits of rope together, we can make that.
As you say that, Quentin, as you all look out across, even further down than this ledge, you can also see what appear to be like 2 sort of columns of stone sort of in the abyss, but they're like even further down than this ledge.
And this just looks bottomless, does it? Pretty much.
Yeah, all of this here just appears, this sort of like light blue colour, just appears to be this bottomless expanse of the abyss. As you look further down, so like there appears to be like a sort of heavy mist hanging about it lower down, so you really can't tell how deep it goes. But there, as I said earlier, there appears to be this strong current of wind, almost like something's like sucking the air down into this moor, which is presumably why it got its name.
Yeah, because we had that up the top as well, didn't we? It was like sort of dragging.
Indeed, and with this similarly strong wind, you expect if you were to go out there on that ledge, unprotected or unsecured, you saw one of the retainers get like yoinked off it by the wind and just thrown into the abyss. You expect there might be a similar danger on this sort of like this ledge if you step out onto it.
Right, so if tie some rope to me, tie some rope round Brock and Weimar. I'm gonna go just here.
Okay.
With them still there.
Yep. That's absolutely fine. Give me a moment.
I've made the GM leave the room.
Is that a rage quit?
So I have a feeling that the consequences of failure are about to ramp up significantly in our near future.
Okay, so what's
I'm
the plan,
nearly dead.
guys?
Safety
So, yeah.
rope.
Safety rope. I'm going to go
That's
to
fine.
there, and they're staying there.
Yeah, no problems. Okay, let me just roll a dice. Okay, so as you move out, you can feel like the wind tugging at you, Quentin, but
Yeah.
you manage to keep hold of the rocks as you're sort of hand over handing it. And obviously, even if it did pull you over, you've got the rope on you, so you wouldn't like plunge to your death or anything. But you can feel like if you hadn't got such a secure grip, and it's even now, it's like almost like you're struggling to maintain your grip on this sort of rocky ledge. What do you want to do?
Like I say, I'm going to just explore to that edge here.
Yep.
I just want to see if there's any sign of an old passageway or.
Okay, so as you explore sort of further to the north, sort of just so I can reveal up to the north, there just appears to be like more of the edge of this sort of chasm. There doesn't appear to be like another passageway.
That's fine.
No.
I'll just make my way back to them then.
Yeah, not a problem.
There's nothing but wind out there.
Let's get back into the relative safety of these tunnels then. Away from that.
Yeah.
We can head back north and check out that that final corridor before deciding where to go next.
Not a problem. Okay, so you move into a smaller cave. There's moss and fungi in all manner of like bizarre, almost technicolor, different hues, sort of dotting the chamber. As you move in via the glorious light of the sun sword, you can also see there appear to be like tiny holes. I mean, we're talking like that sort of size in the ceiling, which is letting like a little bit of natural light through here. The most bizarre thing, though, however, is as you look in there, occasionally from like various different points around the room, you hear like this very soft, sort of quiet, like chuckling or like laughter coming from like different areas of the room. But as you look around, like you don't see anyone.
That's very odd.
And growing in the centre of the chamber is a particularly large red and white speckled fungus. To the south of this chamber, again, you can see another passageway that appears to sort of head quite steeply down into the depths.
So whatever's in here is either
down.
very well disguised or hidden, or very small.
And again, every few moments you hear like a little like high pitch like laugh or like titter, seemingly coming from like the air.
It could be the mushroom talking for all we know at this point.
Is it coming from that direction? Or is it all
It doesn't
round
appear
us?
to be. It just appears to come from like random points in the air around the room.
How big's this mushroom then, when you say big?
We're talking 5 foot tall.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's huge.
that's a big
I
mushroom.
mean, to you, it looks like a variety of mushroom that you've seen like normal size versions of it, and you know that like if you eat it, it's not going to kill you, but it will give you like a really upset stomach. So like you wouldn't like forage it or anything, but this looks exactly the same, just like much bigger. Normally it's like sort of fist size.
It's not like one of those mushroom men
No,
that we've encountered before. No.
It looks exactly like a normal mushroom, just scaled up.
Well, we can go in or we can go back. But we're going down regardless.
Yeah. What do we think? I mean, there's 3 options to go down. Do we need to take this route when we've got other options?
Well, technically 4 if you count like using ropes to go down to the ledge below.
Yeah, we'll put that option on the back burner for now. I think.
I think we need to go to Rope Mart first. So, what was this exit like?
Sorry, which exit?
This one.
Okay, that one, it was, again, rather like the others. It's just a sort of steeply sloping, like natural, like cavernous passage, sort of heading further down into the moor.
I kind of like that one for our entrance down because it's connected to an area that we sort of know, and it's fairly easy to go away.
Get out. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to go back there. Out of the 3. Seems potentially the best choice at the moment. Should we go and investigate that then?
Yeah, we can always pop back up if we want to.
Okay, no problems. I'll move you across to that. And you start heading down this passageway. Now we get the true challenge for this VTT. Can I change maps? You'll probably all just be seeing like a big grey screen.
That is correct.
Which is absolutely fine. That's what you should be seeing in a minute. Because it's all fog of war up.
And what sort of steepness are we talking here, John?
It's not so steep that you need to climb down, but you have to be careful when you're sort of making your way down. You're not going to be sort of like running down there or anything like that.
Yeah. So we've got to slowly.
Yeah, basically. Let me just reveal the path that you're coming down. We'll slap a token on that for you.
Alright, okay.
There we go. So you find yourself heading down this steep, cavernous passageway into the level below. And as you head further down, you notice that as you're sort of making your way down this passageway, the sort of natural stone starts to give way to like worked, if cracked and chipped, flagstones at the sort of very edge of where you can see at the minute. So sort of like hereish.
And is this like newly sort of constructed? Can we tell that
it doesn't appear to be? It appears to be quite old.
So this must have been here for a long, long time, and it's just been uncovered when this explosion or wherever it was went off.
Indeed. And you guys have actually discovered the area that I did a fancy schmancy map on using my new mapping software.
Or the fancy schmancy.
So let me just...
That's getting posh now.
That's good software.
So let me just bring that up. So hopefully you guys can see that a little bit. And you guys are coming through here. So the sort of rocky area heads out
That's
here.
the corridor, yeah.
And you head into this worked stone here. As you start making your way, and you appear to be heading into what looks like a burial chamber or a shrine of some sort. There's a stone crypt in the centre of this chamber, which has an effigy of a warrior knight in repose on it, and just to the south of it is what appears to be a hexagonal font of some sort, that you can't see what, if anything, is in it at the current distance you're at. Obviously I've just put like a party token on it, again for ease.
I'll go and investigate the room. Most likely the person that crawls out of the crypt.
Okay, so as you start moving in, obviously wary, Quentin, in case any like undead monstrosity looms up out of this crypt. You don't see any undead monstrosity. However, as you move in, seemingly from nowhere, a sort of wind that appears to like whip around this chamber like rises up. It's quite a strong wind. I mean, it's not throwing you about, but it's definitely quite strong. And you hear, seemingly coming from the air, but echoing as though being cast from a great distance, a mournful voice being like, "Robbers, usurpers, thieves!" And each time the voice intones a syllable, the wind appears to get a little bit stronger.
I'll shout, no. No?
Defilers! Blasphemers!
No?
It carries on sort of like screaming in a similar vein. Let me just make a quick roll. Okay. A rock from the floor just like flies up and hits you in the face, Quentin, for 3 points of damage.
So I'll go back to Weimar.
Yep.
Right.
It's something in there says we're robbers, defilers, grave robbers.
So where was Quentin specifically before coming back?
Okay, he'd sort of walked in, and he was sort of circling warily round this crypt in case any like undead thing came out. And as he sort of got in there and he was making his way around, this voice and this wind started whipping up. And then as he was like, "No, I'm not," just like a rock from like the side of the chamber just went and like whapped him in the forehead.
Right. So I'll, in my full getup of plate, the antique that I walk in, I'll put up a shield, and I'll walk in, and I'll whisper as I go. Well, I guess not whisper because it's the wind's howling.
Indeed.
So I'll yell at the my companions. I'll see if I can talk to it.
Okay, and indeed, as you step in and you shout that, again, this voice takes deceivers, robbers, vagabonds, blasphemy, and the wind starts whipping up again. You hear like the clang of several like little like pebbles, sort of like bounce off your shield.
I hold up the sun sword. It's like, no, we're none of that. We come here bearing no ill will.
Robber of holy artifacts! You defile this place!
That is not the case at all. as I sort of push forward, unless the wind just pushes me away. But I want to try and make it to the tomb.
At which point a little pebble like hits you in the forehead for 1 point of damage. But you can move.
Yeah. It's like, stop it! And
I'll put a little separate token on there for you so you can move yourself while we know where the others are.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll get to the tomb, and is it the graphic looks like it's sort of skewed, like you could push the lid. Is that the case?
That is indeed the case, yeah.
I'm gonna put the sun sword in the scabbard, get the shield, wedge it in, and use it as a lever to push the tomb open.
Yeah, it takes a little while, so I'm going to make another couple of rolls because like these rocks and stuff just being like flung at you. Okay, so a couple of them like clang off your armor, but it does you no damage.
Yeah, like, will you stop it, man?
And obviously the winds continue to whip, and this morning was like deceivers, like screaming and howling. But yeah, you heave the lid off; it falls to the floor with a crash, and inside you see a suit of like slightly rusted and like battered plate mail. There is the skeletal remnants of presumably the knight who was interred here. He's got his sort of arms crossed. There's like a sword laid on his chest.
Hand on the pommel. Is this spirit thing in the remains? I don't know how it works.
The sword says, well, it's clearly some sort of restless spirit or some such, but I'm not sensing any magic or any sort of taint of undeath about these remains.
Can I see what this is?
And as he's saying that, the lid of the sarcophagus rises up and like smashes you around the back of the head for 8 points of damage.
Is it still intact?
Yeah, it's pretty thick stone. It's just like you've pushed it off. It suddenly rises up and it's like someone's done like giving you the chair.
Yeah. And if the lid is still intact, I will leave.
That's fine. So I'll remove this token for you. You're back with the.
I'll just sort
the
of
party.
limp back. It's like, oh god, oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Weimar comes limping back out, and like all of his like head on has got like quite like a dent in it. Like one of his shoulder like pauldrons is like quite severely dented.
Yeah, I definitely can go that way.
Well,
Oh yeah,
I mean-
let's try something else first. Oh,
is that a doorway straight across, or is that a window? I can't. quite-
Straight across the windows. However, in the sort of southern edge, there is a doorway. I'll sort of reveal a little bit, so hopefully it makes it a bit clearer.
okay.
There we go. That's
And
just
that
a
other
window in
way's-
the north.
And that other corridor sort of blocked up, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That appears to have like the best I could represent it was a big rock, but that appears to have basically collapsed.
Cave in, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
all
could
this
just make a
area is
run for
collapsed.
it. Is that door open or?
Yeah, you can see like the remnants of what must have once been a fairly stout wooden door, but it's all like rotted and it's like hanging on by like one hinge. So like you're pretty sure that Brock, you could just like breeze through that like it wasn't there.
Is that, or we go back and come at this from another direction or another entrance?
Just make the run. If you're willing to charge through that.
Yeah, well, I can do that and check what's over there first in case it is a waste of time. All right, I'm gonna.
Careful of the thing
Okay,
throwing shit at you.
So it's
Yeah,
it's just Brock running through, is it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna run to that
Okay,
other door.
there's a little axe token for you, Brock.
Okay, cool. I'm literally just gonna
Bolt through.
bolt down that wall
Okay,
away from the tomb and that.
the spirit will get one chance to attack you as you run past. Okay, so yeah, a large chunk of like masonry hits the wall just next to your head as you run past, but you make it through unharmed. And I will reveal a little bit more.
Does the wind literally stop as soon as I exit that door?
Yeah, literally, as soon as you go through that archway, the wind appears to be confined to that one chamber.
Right.
One thing you do notice is, as you ran like through the whole room, as you're going past this font here, you notice that as you run past it, there's actually water in it, and again, it looks to be crystal clear.
But I didn't notice anything sort of sitting in it
No,
particularly. No. Okay.
But yeah,
And again,
you run into this little hallway. Again, there's like an open archway in front of you that appears to lead to, it looks like maybe a small shrine. You can see on the sort of wall to the east, so here is what appears to be a large picture of a mosaic of, again, a huge sort of muscular male figure, this time wearing armor, carrying a sword, sort of holding it up, and the sword actually looks pretty familiar to you. It looks a lot like the sword Weimar's got, and you can see that it's this Adonis-like picture of this man, and he's wearing this like feathered sort of, I suppose, neck sort of thing around his neck, this feathered sort of ruff around his neck, and he has armor on, and he's holding this sword up, and there's like a stylized depiction of like beams of light coming out of the sword.
yeah, so it's the fiery sort of light sword. Yeah. Okay. And then it's got these two exits out of the room.
Indeed, as you look into the one to the south, you can see that it appears to, again, it's another corridor that heads down for a certain distance, then it appears to have collapsed at the end.
I'm going to stand there so I can sort of look in both
Yep.
directions.
As you look through this one, you can see the hall extends some distance. Again, there's an empty sort of portal, and beyond it you can just see a bit of the room beyond. Are you carrying a torch, by the way, Brock?
Well, we'll have to, yeah.
Okay.
I assume it's not lit down here. There's
No.
no sort of magical lighting or anything.
No. Okay, so all of this has taken you 2 turns, so you've got 4 turns left on this torch.
Okay.
and you can see into the room beyond, and you can see what appears to be like another stone sarcophagus, and sort of beyond it what appears to be another empty archway.
Cross off one of my torches so I don't forget. Okay, yeah, I'm going to just have a look down this corridor before I report back. So I'm just going to walk down to the end of this part of the corridor to have a look through that doorway or archway.
Okay, no problems. So let me just reveal what's there. Okay, so as you look into this stone burial chamber, you can see what appear to be 3 stone tombs, and there are also what appear to be 2 statues on the far wall of armoured warriors.
And again, a doorway leading through.
Indeed. The archways in this, they appear to have they appear to once have like metal, like portcullises in them, and you can see, but they're like raised, but you can see like the top of like the bottom of the portcullis sort of raised up at the top of the arch, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to literally just step in just to see if there's any of this wind and such that I encountered previously.
You step in, there are no howling winds or anything like that in here.
Okay. Well, I think at this point I am going to travel back to the door and report on my findings.
Okay, so by the time you get back, your torch will have gone. But that's fine, you can make it back to the others. So are you just like running through the spirit chamber?
I won't be able to shout across, I take it.
No, not with the winds.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
so I'll remove your token.
Go.
You run across you now with the group token again. So it will get a chance to attack you as you run across.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 19, so that is a hit. Let's just check its damage. 1d4. Okay, so as you charge across, a large piece of rock strikes you in the back for 4 hit points of damage. And again, there's the cries of like, deceivers, robbers, brigands!
I'll curse it as I get to the others.
Yeah. Weimar's sort of like, sorry, Brock, as you see him sort of like, he reaches where Weimar is, start running back towards the rest of you guys. You see him sort of get hit by this rock, and it sort of like pushes him forward, and he scrambles through the archway to rejoin you guys.
Yeah, so I shall describe what I've seen as best as possible. The empty sort of shrine corridor leading to another one of these. So they were 3. Were they like coffins, I guess?
There were like 3 stone sarcophaguses, yeah.
Yeah.
In this room here, and then there was like another potentially chamber beyond.
A couple of statues, and then it continues. I didn't want to get too far ahead. Okay, something happened, or
I don't know if we can do anything here.
Not with a crazy wind, man.
let's call on the spectacles once again and have a look through the spectacles to see what sort of dust and stuff we're getting going in this direction. See if it's the same as before, if there's any obvious signs of it getting stronger, the pathway.
Did you describe the statue of the flaming sword to us? Yeah.
Oh no, that was a painting or a
like
tapestry.
A mosaic, yeah.
Oh, mosaic, sorry. Yeah.
So that's interesting for Weimar, but
so yeah, if we put these spectacles on, do we get any sort of sense that the pathway is getting stronger in this direction?
Okay, you put the spectacles on, and there is, again, it's difficult to tell because there is a lot of like the dust here, but that seems to be like a sort of ever-present thing in this sort of place.
But no sort of stronger sense of the pathway like when we were getting closer to this place itself.
No.
Okay.
Look down. You know when we was looking down at that wonderful hole? Did we try it with the specs on?
I don't think we did, no.
But let's try that.
Okay, so are you guys going back up to go and like peer into the abyss? Is that right?
Well, it looks like we want to take a different route down to this level, don't we? So we might as well do that while we're up there, yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to this map, and are you just heading straight back up, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, no problems. That will take you back up onto the first map. Your token should still be in the same place.
Yep.
So yes, you emerge back onto the upper level, so to speak.
So gazing into the abyss, is it? Or
We'll go and set the ropes up then, shall we?
Yeah,
Over,
let's gaze into
over
the
here again.
Okay, yeah, so you head over to this sort of windy cliff on the edge of the abyss. You can see the daylight filtering in. You can feel the wind that seems to ever be pulled down into the beast's maw. And below you can see this ledge, looks about 80 feet below.
Put the glasses on.
Okay, you put the glasses on. You don't see like a sort of Zool Ghostbusters-esque sort of like shaft of light shining out of it or anything. However, the mist that's down below that seems to sort of like prevent you seeing precisely how deep this abyss goes, it does appear to have like a greenish hue when you put the glasses on.
Okay, I'll pass the glasses around so everyone can see the greenish hue.
Yeah, everyone looks through, and like I say, it's not like it's like like glowing green, but like it's just like normal sort of white, gauzy like mist when you look at it normally. When you put the spectacles on through the green lens, it does have like a greenish tint to it. Obviously, assuming you let Fabio have a look, he sort of looks through the glasses and he says, I wonder if the rather than the island collapsing in on itself, perhaps a large fragment of the chaos stone was driven into the centre of the island, making this chasm. That would explain all of the dust hereabouts and this mist of dust as flakes of the stone were chipped off as it tunneled through the earth. And he sort of stands there pensively, sort of as he passes the glasses back to you, but he stands there sort of like, obviously he's not stepping out onto the ledge, he's not mental, but he's like sort of peering as best he can sort of over like towards this mist, sort of like looking pensively and thoughtfully at it as he ponders his hypothesis.
So, want to try another radar?
Yeah.
I think A17.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's at this. What, going through the mushroom room?
That's the mushroom room, isn't it?
Yeah, with the
So
giant
That's the
red
giggling.
mushroom.
we'll
And
try
again-
off A13 then.
Yeah, I'll leave that to last, I think.
I'll say
We did that one.
this one where you are now is the one you headed down.
Yeah.
Just
So we'll go down this one.
okay, no problems. You start making your way down.
Eagle shroom.
Well, whatever's on there's giggling, so we best stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true.
Anyone who's having a good time down here is
Yeah, there's nothing
news.
funny about this place. Well, at least they've got a warped sense of humour anyway, so...
And just move your token over. So you emerge into another sort of natural cavernous passageway. Just say you've been heading down this fairly steep passageway into the lower depths of the mall. Again, as you head down here, you can see daylight coming from this direction, and you can also hear the wind.
Well, I think we're going to look at that first.
Well, let's use the rope
Yeah, definitely.
setup that we've previously got. If you're getting near the edge again, potentially.
Okay.
And we'll stand here and anchor from here.
That is not a problem. So as you head up, you emerge into this cavern that appears to look out onto the very ledge that you saw from the level above.
So we've come down about 80 foot. It's not carved like the last one.
Okay. Just a little bit more of the edge of the cliff. So yeah, you're standing on this jagged cliff again. The wind howls around it, but you can see this ledge sort of looking out over the abyss.
Well, it's a bit like a leap of faith, really, isn't it?
Well, it will be if you didn't take it.
I think that'll be a swept of faith.
And there we
Yeah, I'm not going to recommend it.
I don't want to go and have a look that far, thanks.
go. And there we go. I've revealed a bit more of the sort of the abyss. You can now see these two sort of stone like columns. Obviously, they're now not quite as far below. They're now about like 80 feet below where you are. Whereas previously they were like a couple of levels down. They're now only like one level down.
Can you see the colour from there? What that's made out of, that stuff?
They appear to be made out of a similar sort of black grey stone to the rest of your sort of surroundings.
Yeah, so they're
What
not.
if you put the glasses on? What happens then?
You put the glasses on, you look at these stone pillars, and you can see there are several sort of larger fragments of glowing green sort of embedded in them. But I mean, when I say large, we're talking relatively compared to the dust, so we're talking like sort of 50 pence piece sort of size.
So there's loads of fragments broken off as
Yeah.
it's crashed down or blown up or whichever way.
So, potentially any one of these bloody things could be the stone.
Or they might all have the same properties, and it's just getting to a bit of it is the difficult part. You know,
Yeah,
they
I
might.
don't fancy jumping onto one of them.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a jump, because like I say, it's like 80 foot down, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's explore then.
Yeah, let's head back down that corridor to the south then.
Okay, no problems. So as you start heading down this cavernous passageway, again it starts getting a little bit damper, and you start smelling sort of damp vegetation as you move down the passageway.
Everybody be prepared for some of them.
Yeah, it's a similar sort of smell and thing to the trolls that we've encountered before.
Not so much trolls, but more like the sort of like mossy chamber you were in previously.
Yeah. But that seemed to be where they were sort of hanging out or living in. Okay. We'll be on alert then. Get Cutters, or at least get another torch out on standby.
Okay. So, are you heading in?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll follow down the corridor cautiously.
Okay. Okay, so you emerge into an extremely large cave covered in huge mushrooms the size of trees. Dotted around the base of them are many more smaller mushrooms. As you, in fact, it's difficult to see across the cave because, like I say, it's full of things the size of trees. Obviously, they've got smaller mushrooms and stuff like that.
Are they similar to the one before, the red and white sort of mushroom?
There's some like that, although these are much bigger here, because obviously they're tree size, not like 5 foot, and they like the stems of them look tough and sort of like woody because they're so big. But there's also other varieties of mushrooms. Again, they just appear to be like gigantic. There's smaller mushrooms growing around them, almost like shrubs would grow around trees.
But are they recognisable? Just big versions? Yeah. So it's like stuff I would pick up for when foraging and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we either go through the mushroom forest or past the creepy mushroom.
I mean, if we hug the wall, do we sort of encounter less of it, or?
Yeah, there is a bit more space nearer the edge of the walls. Yeah, not much, but a little bit.
No laughing or anything now in this. If we stand still for a little while and listen.
Not that you can hear.
I mean, I'm happy to sort of hug the wall and go and have a look at that next corridor up.
Well, we might as well all go, because we know this area is pretty clear. If you're going to encounter anything, it's going to be in front of you.
Well, I'll go a little bit ahead in case, any spores or anything comes out from these mushrooms.
Yeah, move your token to where you want it to.
So I'm gonna hug along this wall here.
Okay, so you've got your torch. Why have you got the sun sword out still, or have you sheathed that bad boy for the moment?
I suppose that would have been a discussion to have on the way. Like, are we going in quiet or no?
I think we always go quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the torch gives off plenty of light, so it's not like we can be invisible.
Yeah, no, it's just the my background music that kicks off.
Yeah.
Every time I have the sword out. So.
Yeah, once it's out though, isn't it? It's not.
It's not like
choir, is it?
Continuous.
What, like The Witcher?
Yeah. No, I can have it out, but I imagine I'll be sort of acting as a rear guard anyway here, because I'm both the slowest and also the clunkiest.
Okay. So as you start making your way around the edge, obviously you going slightly further ahead, Brock.
Yep.
As you sort of pass by a particularly large mushroom, as the light of your torch sort of touches it, it suddenly starts emitting this ear-piercing shriek that echoes throughout the cavern.
And as the noise comes out, does it react in any other way, or?
It appears to be like trembling slightly as it's like emitting this shriek. But
Okay.
other than
Well,
that, no.
I'm just going to move faster and make my way to this. To basically get through this place as quick as possible now.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't actually do anything to stop you. It's just emitting this high-pitched shriek that eventually does start to sort of fade away.
But obviously it's alerted the entire world of our presence. If there is anything.
Indeed.
So I should just try and have a look up this corridor.
Okay, not a problem. So as you peer up that corridor, you can see it appears to continue to the north, and then it opens out into a small cave.
Well, if I can't see anything obvious, then I'll gesture everyone to follow me, and I'll start to head up there and get out of that noisy cavern.
Okay, so as you guys move through the larger cavern, again, a few of these sort of mushrooms start shrieking, but it doesn't appear to do you any
Fire
harm.
related. That's fine.
And you move through into this small, seemingly empty cavern.
Yeah, just before we enter, I'm gonna stop, wait for the noise to stop, and listen out to see if there's any reaction to the screeching from the mushrooms, any sort of running or any footsteps or any sort of noise from something coming towards.
Okay, you listen out for a few moments and you don't hear anything untoward. You're just about to move on when from the large cavern to the south of you, you hear one of these mushrooms start shrieking.
All right, I shall. Obviously, we need to form up, because I would imagine someone's coming through that cavern. If it's been set off, they could be right behind us. So do we want to move forward into that other cavern or hold in this corridor?
Let's go backwards into the cavern.
Okay, we'll just head into this small cavern before sort of turning to face the large cavern to see if anything's coming.
Okay, not a problem. And eventually you do see sort of shambling through this fungal forest what appears to be a small group of 6, maybe 7 ragged, skeletal, fleshless creatures wearing the tattered remnants of chainmail and armour, rusty swords gripped in their boneless hands as they shamble towards the passageway. And you sort of lock eyes with their empty sockets as you peer down the passageway to the south.
How are we looking for health wise?
I am bad.
So, are you still in the game? Why
I've got
not?
6 hit points left, so you know.
I'm still good. Why? Honour my name.
I only had 1 day left to retirement.
I was gonna be a Thieves Guild leader, you understand?
Yeah, we need to find you a telephone pole. Smack yourself against it until you push your HP back into the socket. No. I'll Brock. You can follow in my steps. The Sun Sword hopefully will will carve us a path through.
How wide is this corridor?
About 10 feet.
So a couple of them sort of wide.
Yeah, basically. And now they're sort of coming more towards you into like the light. You can see there's 7 of these skeletal figures.
Oof, it's quite a lot. So are we going to fill this corridor, Weimar, or do you want me and Lan to take on this?
I think it's best if I'm there. The sun sword can help.
Okay, so me and Weimar will sort of fill the corridor just before the cavern with our comrades just behind us, sort of thing.
Yeah, not a problem. Obviously, you've also got like effect because they don't appear to be like running or charging. They're just moving at a slow pace. Although unnervingly, aside from the slight jangle of their ruined chainmail, they don't appear to make any noise as they move.
Do you want to fire off a few crossbow bolts or something?
Yep, I'm on it.
Yeah, you've got a couple of like turns worth of shots you can do.
And I'll chuck a spear before they get to us.
Yeah, go for it.
A 9.
Okay.
And a 15 to hit.
I get the 15 a set.
Yeah.
I miss with my spear.
Okay.
Well, if
I did 1 point of damage.
Okay.
I'll put in an arrow. That'll be like 18.
Yeah, that'll hit.
It does
It's a D6, isn't it? Longbow.
2 damage.
Okay, so one of the skeletons, I'm assuming you've hit the same one in the first round you get to fire, is hit with a crossbow bolt and an arrow. Like you see bits of his like chipped bone like get smashed off, but he's still moving, although barely. Obviously Quentin did both of his, but potentially you could do another one. Weimar. Since it's going to take like 2 turns for them to get to you.
Yeah.
Might as well.
No, I'm I'm putting the bow away.
Okay, and they stumble towards you, sort of 2 apiece, just due to the size of this corridor. So, I've rolled a 5 for my initiative.
She'll go. Weimar.
Oh boy. 5.
Oh.
Splendid. Do you guys want to go first? And in case you've not picked up, these are very definitely undead.
Really?
I know.
It was pretty subtle, those
So,
descriptions.
So
Go on, lead the charge.
okay, so clear that, and well, it doesn't do the choir now, but Weimar's imagining the choir as the sunset comes down. That's 20,
that's a hit.
24.
yeah, that's a hit.
And let me quickly reference. Okay, this. What? Okay, 7.
Okay, so Weimar sort of hacks down the already like damaged one, and then sort of reverses his sword and hacks down the second one. So there are now only 5 of them remaining. There's like 2 of them just like explode in a shower of bone, and you hear like the sword be like, "Yes, you vile creatures of darkness!"
Weimar's literally on fire this evening.
Yeah.
Okay, I make an attack. I got a 20.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Assume is a hit. But only 5 damage.
Okay, you shatter another one of these skeletal creatures with your broadsword. Don't forget you've got Lan as well.
I thought
Although
we could only
technically
get two in.
She's behind. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
True. That's true. Okay, so there's only, since we're going simultaneously, I'm just going to roll for like the two that were there, because obviously it includes the one you shattered because it's simultaneous.
Mhm.
But I'll just do one on each of you. So here we go. So first one on Brock. Misses. On Weimar. Also misses. So they attack you with their rusty weapons. Brock parries adeptly with his broadsword. Weimar blocks a blow of a rusty sword with his shield. You take no damage. Next round, roll initiative. I'm on a 1.
Okay, I'll continue. Hopefully, I can beat a 1. I cannot beat a 1. Not tonight.
So we're simultaneous again. Obviously, one of the skeletons is like advancing over the fallen one. So if you guys want to go first again.
Right.
Yep, go on. Crack on.
Figure that. Yeah, that'll be a hit, I expect.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
15 plus things. And that'll be an 11 damage.
Okay. So again, Weimar like obliterates two of these skeletons. Like as the two of them steps forward, he just like takes a step in front of Brock and just like swings the sun sword in a glowing arc through the whole of the corridor, and two like just severs the heads of two of these skeletons that sort of fall to the floor even as they're stepping forward. Meaning there's only two remaining.
I do manage to hit, but I only do 3 damage.
Okay, so you have damaged one of them. It's very nearly out, but it's not quite dead yet. So, because we're going simultaneously, I'm now going to make the attack for those two that have just been killed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, one on Brock. That is a hit. One on Weimar. That's a 20, so that's a hit.
Oof.
Okay, two rusty swords coming in. So Brock, you take 4 hit points of damage. Weimar, you take 2 hit points of damage as you're both stabbed by rusty swords. As you then, as Weimar then hacks down these two skeletons that have dared to injure you. There are now only 2 remaining, and it's initiative again.
Good.
I'm on 2.
One. Steady decline.
Okay, so the two remaining ones. Okay, so one on Weimar. Gets a 1, so it misses. One on Brock. Gets a 4, so it also misses. Again, they clatter their rusty weapons uselessly against your defenses.
Okay. Let's try and recoup. 14.
That's it.
11 damage.
Okay, so again, Weimar with that sun sword steps forward and just like obliterates the last of these two skeletal creatures. They just like explode in shards of bone and
I just
dust.
look over and you really don't like the undead, do you?
Justice! Just bones flying, bouncing off the wall.
Indeed.
And as you know, the final bone clatters to the floor, I think Weimar is like panting a little bit, and then just like, oh, sorry about that. Woo! The sword still be carried away with these. Apologies.
Yeah, you're all sort of like coughing and spluttering a bit. It's like this bone dust like cloud that's just like filled the air as like Weimar's been like buzzsawing his way through them all.
Yeah, the warm bone meal powder now in the air from the explosive fires of the sword. Yeah.
So we better go find out where they came from.
Let's take a look. I can lead the way. I'll use the sword as a torch.
Yeah, no problems. Just move yourself where you want to go.
Head downwards.
Okay. So again, when you enter, as the light of your sword floods out into this chamber, again, several of these like large mushrooms start shrieking loudly.
Just pass through quickly, why not?
Which way?
Well, not the way we came, so along the...
Right.
Keep to the wall and
Here,
go...
Yep.
Yep.
Is this like a one-person
Yes.
snug fit cave? Yeah.
It is indeed.
Well, I'll cram myself in.
Okay.
Lead the way.
You start making your way down this snug one-man passageway. It's quite difficult to maneuver through. You're almost having to sort of squeeze your way through, especially with your armor on and stuff like that. However, eventually you find yourself emerging out through a narrow crack in the wall of what appears to be a burial chamber.
Just like, oh no.
This looks very familiar to where I was earlier.
That's a good thing.
This is where I got to before I came back.
What do the tombs say, John?
Okay, as you look at them, again, they're in this sort of like pictographic writing, but you can make a roll if you wish.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. It appears to be the names on there of members of the Order of Solar Knights. The glyphs also recount like their deeds, their mighty deeds of combat, what battle they fell in, etc.
Do we know the Solar Knights?
Yeah, we do. They were buried on this isle.
That's before Brock's time.
So they've been corrupted, I guess, if they're rising from the dead. And
A lot of them were cursed, is the sort of understanding that we have, or had. Who knows what's true now? That was then.
I mean, these ones seem intact though, don't they?
Yeah, these tombs are intact. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing does strike you as you're sort of going along them as you're talking to the others and sort of reading these. And obviously, I'm going to make a roll for each separate tomb. But as you get to the last one, it appears one thing strikes you. Again, it describes this heroic knight. The name's like some ancient, weird-sounding name that doesn't mean anything to you, and it's describing his heroic deeds, battles, etc. One thing that does strike you as interesting is his final battle that he sort of fell in. It describes him fighting against a man who could take on the form of a great beast. And in the sort of like the epitaph after that, it says that we lay him to rest here with this scroll in the hopes that should his spirit ever need to battle such a creature again, he will be well protected in the next world.
I think we should have open this one, guys. It's got a bit of information in it.
Well, if the lid starts flying, we need to leave.
That's a given.
Okay, yeah, so you crack the lid off there. Have any got like a crowbar or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a crowbar.
Yeah, no problems. You're like, crack your knuckles, roll your sleeves, I'll handle this. Get your crowbar out, get it under the lip. No problem at all. And you quickly sort of like pry, you don't have to push it off, just move it a little bit at an angle. And inside again you see the sort of skeletal remnants of presumably this knight, although this one isn't fully armor clad. He's more sort of like in a funeral shroud, and you can see like his arms sort of folded across his chest, and underneath his arms, instead of a sword, there's what appears to be like a long sort of parchment with a strip of like white ribbon around it.
Okay, well, obviously I'm going to grab the scroll.
Yeah. You reach in, you pluck it out, not a problem.
Yeah.
Are you opening it and reading it?
I'll try to read it. I don't know if I can read it.
Okay, well, you don't have to make a roll for this. You unroll it, and it seems to be written in common, albeit an archaic version of it. And it essentially appears to be a charm against shape changers, or beast changers, as it calls them. And as you read through it, it basically says, it gives you the impression that, like, if you read this charm aloud, it will conjure it describes like a circle of protection against these beast changers.
Yeah, that's very handy.
Okay, you now have a scroll of protection from lycanthropes. And just for the purposes of like us knowing this, knowing what it does, essentially it can be used by all characters. If you read the script aloud, it conjures a circle of protection against a specific type of monster or energy, in this case lycanthropes. When used, it conjures a 10-foot radius circle of protection around the reader. If the reader moves, the circle of protection follows them. And the circle doesn't prevent them from using magic or missile attacks against you, but it prevents them from entering and making melee attacks against you. However, if you like tried to push the circle against a monster, it would break the charm. But it gives you like a sort of safety zone, like around whoever reads it and whoever stood within that circle.
Well, since we're cracking graves,
You got onto the others, are you?
yeah,
Okay, no problems. You start cracking open the other graves. You crack open the first one, no problems. Again, similar thing inside, wrapped up in funeral garb, etc. However, in this one, there is what appears to be a clay pot laid at the feet of the person interred inside. When you look inside it, you can see there is a huge amount of silver pieces of an archaic design, like filling up this clay urn.
yeah, that could be handy.
Okay, so you've now got 1,200 silver pieces.
Bloody hell.
Do you realize, by the way, that the storm spirit, whatever it is, screaming about us robbing graves and whatnot? I'll, raise a brow.
At least,
It had its chance.
What one was
at
it? Yeah,
least
that
you've
grave
actually
robber.
done something now to
It had its
justify
chance.
getting smacked.
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to do it. It pissed me off. Now I'm doing it. So yeah, on to the final one.
Okay, no problems. You move on to the final one, and again you pop it open without too much trouble. And in this one, you see what appears to be a piece of sort of elaborate gold jewellery around the neck of the person, the knight interred within. Obviously, you're in the business, Quentin, so you estimate that this piece of jewellery must be worth at least 500 gold pieces.
Yeah, that's worth possibly being cursed. I love it.
Yep, you yoink it out. No curse strikes you. However, as you pull it out, there's two loud clangs as the metal portcullises on these two doors drop down.
We've got the exit, so
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a...
let's get through the gap.
Okay, and obviously you can still see through the metal portcullis, so I'll reveal this last bit
I was going to say, you probably want to look through it at least.
here. Hopefully it will reveal it. There we go. So as you look through that, you can see there is a small chamber beyond, and there is what appears to be a stone staircase leading down into the darkness.
I think this is a time to have a little look through the spectacles at the staircase.
Okay, you look through the spectacles, peering through the metal portcullis, and you can see that there is indeed a fairly heavy concentration of the glittering green dust on the staircase.
You want to put the necklace back, don't you?
No, I was just going to see if it's worth trying to open this portcullis. I'm going to see, sort of test this portcullis, see how heavy it is and whether I think I'll be able to lift it.
Okay, you think you'd probably have a decent chance, to be honest. You'd have to make an open stuck door rolls. So it's in your abilities. You've got a pretty decent chance of doing it. You think it's obviously it was perhaps originally a mechanism that would have gone off and they'd have sort of summoned the constabulary or whatever while people were trapped in there. But obviously the grates are slightly rusty. The mechanism's probably not up to much. You're like, if I put enough force on this, pushing it back up, I can probably lift it.
Is there anything we can do to try and make it any easier? The crowbar's not going to really help.
No, not really.
I guess it's
just a matter of brute force.
Because you can just grab hold of it, can't you?
Yeah.
So it's not like you got to get it started even, really. Okay, I shall, just try and manhandle it.
Okay, make your roll. I believe you got a 4 in 6 chance.
I got a 5.
Okay, so Brock starts heaving and struggling with all his might, his sinews bulging, and he gets it like lifted up a little bit, but then it like clangs back to the floor.
I'm going to have to let the missus show me up, I?
Yeah, if you want, obviously you've already had your go, but anyone else can have a go as well.
I'll look over at Lan.
She like leans a sword up against one of the tombs and like gives it the old as she walks over.
Yeah, let's give it a go. Oh,
I presume that's a fail.
rolled. Yeah, just rolled off of a 1 and went on a 3.
Again, she tries to heave it up. Again, she manages to lift it by like a couple of inches, but it clangs back down.
Yeah, she had a 2 in 6.
You think, even if you can't lift it, you could probably like batter your way through it, but that would like take some time and it would be very loud.
Yeah.
Guess I might as well give it a go. You might have loosened it up.
While like cracks his neck as he like walks up.
Yeah, cracks his neck and goes like, "Ah!"
It's not big enough to assist each other, is it? Really?
No.
I've got a 2 in 6. So
Yeah, same as Lan.
And you've made it, I believe.
yeah, I've made it.
So Weimar grabs hold of it, he like strains and lifts it up. While he's doing that, Brock and Lan like go and get one of the lids off one of the stone sarcophagus and basically like, wedge it underneath.
Yeah, and
So
I'll
like,
then assist him to.
it comes down a little bit, but it just like hits the stone and like stops. So it's now open.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that that's securely in place so we can get in and out without any trouble. Jam it between the iron spikes at the bottom, sort of thing.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just going to draw a little red line here so we know that one's shut. But yeah, you secure that portcullis that you're at. That's not a problem, and you can now see into this small chamber with this staircase heading down into the darkness.
Right, so Holy Sword first or Brock first?
I don't mind going first if you're sort of right behind shedding light. I don't mind.
Fine. Yeah, we'll do that. So I'll be right. I'll be second with the sunsword.
Okay, and you begin to make your way down this staircase into the darkness of the tomb level below. And that is where we're going to draw a close to this evening's proceeding, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the session.
Cool.
Obviously, I will work out XP and whatnot in a moment. But for now, it's just me to thank my wonderful players. Hopefully, how did you guys think the slightly more manual method worked that we did this evening with the Albay Rodeo and whatnot? I know it's not quite as flashy, but
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it works just fine.
Yeah, once you know what your roles are, it's
Yeah.
easy, isn't it?
how did you find it in terms of like rolling and like moving the maps? 'Cause we didn't seem to have really any problems.
No, I think that all worked out pretty fine. The only thing is like the rolling, your own sort of roll tray. That's all fine, but I think one of the things that could be improved here is like just make the results bigger in
Yes.
the side of the screen. Like,
Yeah, you almost want a
big.
chat box where
Yeah.
it shows them.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want something to highlight
Right.
the result better than. Well, it's not necessary, but that's the only improvement that I sort of figured out that it's fine for me because I can see the die.
Yeah.
But I would want my result to be more visible
Yeah.
than it is currently. But everything else, no problem.
Lovely.
Good,
Well,
ain't it? Yeah, no,
well,
chat
and I hope
with
you guys found the sort of semi-point crawl style of like moving through the dungeon like okay. Obviously, it wasn't like as strictly a point crawl as last time, but we also didn't do the like,
Yeah.
you're moving like
Yeah,
square
yeah.
by square sort of dealio.
Yeah, I found the sort of have a token to signify generally where we are doing our stuff. I thought that worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And obviously, you got to see my fancy schmancy map that I did on that Dungeon Alchemist,
Yeah, yeah,
which is pretty sweet piece of software. So
yeah.
I shall knock up the like lower level of this this dungeon using a similar thing for next time. Right, well, thank you again, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. Obviously, I'm happy to chat for a little bit and we'll sort out XP and whatnot. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you to anyone who's watching this now or in the future. Hopefully we'll catch you for the next one. Take care.